And then I said, wouldn't it be funny if we killed Twitch right when we were going to give Twitch?
Yeah.
And I think it was a good joke. Oh, hey guys. Welcome to the Season 7 reveal stream for Honor's Storm and Fury reveal. That's what we're calling Season 7.
The color is blue.
Blue. I'm wearing blue.
I'm wearing blue too. I always wear blue.
Are you?
Here, blue.
Jeans, sure. Hello, Damien. How you doing?
I'm good, and you?
Great. Now that we're live on all of the channels we're supposed to be live on. So shout out to everyone who's watching us on Twitch or YouTube or Mixer. We love all of you equally, but especially when the broadcast works. But apparently everything's fine now. Just want to say at the top of the show, because Twitch is dealing with whatever's happening on their side, it could go down again. And if it does, go to Ubisoft. Go to youtube.com/Ubisoft or go to mixer.com/ForHonor if that happens. I'll probably get in trouble for saying go to Mixer on Twitch, but I don't know what else to do.
Because we don't know.
But anyway,
But we're doing Twitch drops.
Well, that's the thing. The nice thing about being on Twitch is we get to do this cool thing called Twitch drops. So those should be enabled starting now. And we have a little graphic. Great. So for every 30 minutes of accumulated viewing time, you get one scavenger crate. It's not just you get one. You get one every 30 minutes. And this is going to be a pretty long show. Could be 2 hours or more.
We'll try to make it as long as we can.
Stretch it out and give you as many crates as possible. And even more exciting, every 10 minutes of viewing time, you get an additional chance to win 100,000 steel. Thanks to the banker over here, Mr. Damien. That's very generous of you.
I know.
So we have a lot to go through today. There's a few things. If you watch The Warriors Den every week, we are here every single week at this time on these same channels.
If I may.
Yes, please.
Before, you won't have the notification of the Twitch drops now.
Oh, very important.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So don't ask on the chat, did I got
Very
them or not?
Damien.
Yeah,
Good
very
addition.
important. So don't ask on the chat. Those will be given tomorrow, I think.
No, it's a 72-hour window just to cover our bases.
So don't ask for them. Don't check for them in the chat.
You'll see them come into your account between August 3rd and 5th.
Yeah, exactly.
So don't freak out if you don't see them right away. We got you. Unless we don't. And if we don't, you'll hear from us. So yes, we always do news at the top of the show. So we have a bunch of little news things, and then we'll get into the, as you call in your upcoming PowerPoint,
the juicy details.
Juicy details. How do you say that in French?
Les détails juteux.
Juteux. All right. So one very cool thing that kicks off today, because Season 7 kicks off today. The game is under maintenance right now.
Yeah.
We're doing a thing called the Hero Trial, which we did at Season 6. And it allows you to play all the heroes in the game that you have not unlocked. You can play them for free from the 2nd till the 9th of August. And they are also discounted.
Exactly.
So if you like what you play, it's a great time to spend your steel and unlock that character.
If you don't want to get the season pass, only one hero, you like only one hero, you can go through steel and do that.
That's correct. And another very exciting thing that is not starting today, but just a couple weeks on August 16th on Xbox One. Hello, Mixer people.
And Xbox One X.
Yes, of course.
And Xbox One S. No, I'm kidding.
No, that's true, though.
Yeah.
Every Xbox One in existence. We will be part of Microsoft's Xbox Games with Gold from August 16th to September 15th. And what that means, if you're not familiar with Games with Gold, everyone who has an Xbox Live Gold account gets the game, the standard edition of the game, for free to keep. It's not a trial. You get it, and you keep it. So that's super exciting for us. Should be exciting for our Xbox players because you have a lot more people coming into the game to play with. So we're super happy that Xbox is working with us on that. So thanks to you guys. Also, this is a little tidbit of an announcement. God damn it. This is a tidbit of an announcement. Oh, God, don't meme. Let's start the show over. Something that we wanted to announce. On our Season 6 stream, we announced we would be at E3, and that was fun and exciting. So now, we like to give you little breadcrumbs of where you get to see the next bits of stuff. So we're going to be at Gamescom.
Yes.
Gamescom,
Germany.
if you don't know, is this massive convention in Germany. I don't know if it's the biggest in Europe, but I'm pretty sure it is.
It's the biggest consumer show, video game consumer show in the world.
Something like 200,000 attendees. They do a whole, it's basically an E3 and a PAX ×2 smushed together. So we'll be there with the game. And at Gamescom, we're going to reveal our PvE mode that we mentioned at E3.
True.
And what that also means is we'll have a Warriors Den that week where we show you what that mode is.
And that's really cool.
So we'll have Damien, we'll hopefully have Roman, and whoever else, and we can walk you through that mode on the Warriors Den that happens the week of Gamescom.
I'm excited.
Which is August 23rd, let's say. It's the Thursday of that week.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, that's the 23rd. Good calendar. All right. So all of those,
so prepared.
all of the business out of the way. The purpose of today's show is to show you the details of Season 7, Storm and Fury, which starts after the show. The game is under maintenance right now. But before that, we wanted to go into detail on our October expansion, which is Marching Fire, and give you a reveal of a new feature in just a few minutes.
That's true.
A big PowerPoint awaits you. Multiple people worked on this PowerPoint till the wee hours of the night.
Yeah.
Ooh, so many slides. You're going to love it. But before that, we're actually going to play Breach mode with a bunch of our devs. We thought it would be fun to do a full match, which we haven't done in the Warriors Den, a full match of Breach to get you into the Marching Fire spirit. You're actually going to play.
I will.
Ooh, people love it.
And I will play the Kensei, of course.
And so you're going to be the Kensei on the attackers or defenders?
Defenders team.
So watch out for the good Kensei, who is on the defenders. Watch out for an absolute trash Kensei on the attacking team, played by our friend Michael Anthony. He is garbage. So hopefully we can see the two of you face off.
Roman is playing too.
Oh, Roman is also on the attackers team.
Who are you playing, Roman? He doesn't say. He doesn't know.
He does not want to reveal.
It's a mystery.
Wow, he looks pissed. Oh, yes, Roman's referring to it being very cold in here. That's because of me. I requested it be very cold in this room so I don't drip throughout the show. So let's kick off our Breach match. We're gonna bring out a couple game mode designers while you go and play.
Yeah, and it's the game mode from our E3 demo.
Yes.
So it's pretty old for us, like 2 months old, something like that. So we did a lot of improvements. We did the technical tests. We did a lot of changes, and maybe they will go through some of those. But just FYI, it's the version that was shown at E3.
Yes, it's the map that we showed at E3. We, in fact, last week on the show said we'd be playing a new Breach map, and it broke our hearts to realize there were build problems on our side. Technically, we couldn't make that happen, so we still wanted
it's old Breach and old map.
Yep.
Not old map, but a known map.
So we're going to do a little transition, come back with a couple of our designers. You get to go play, and we'll be right back with some Breach. Hello, we are back. Stéphane.
Hello.
Guillaume.
Hey.
How are you guys?
Good,
We're good. We're good.
So these folks are a couple of our designers on the game mode team. They provide such classic hits as
Tribute.
Tribute.
Both Carousel of Death and Dance of Death.
I love Carousel of Death.
All the game mode events.
Yeah, all the game mode events. Yeah, basically.
How about this new one?
Yeah, that's us also. We also worked on that.
Breach is what we're here to talk about today. If you don't know, it is the new mode coming in Marching Fire on October 16th. Part of a bunch of new things coming in October 16th in Marching Fire. It is the embodiment of the Castle Siege fantasy that so many of our players have wanted for Honor since launch, since before launch.
Yep.
And we're there.
And we're there finally.
Yes.
And we're happy. We're very busy tweaking and tuning.
Tweening.
Are
you a dad?
No.
Well, no excuse then.
Not an excuse, yeah. No, we're making a little changes, making sure that everything is fine, looking at data from the TTS, see how things happen, watching other players play. So lots of playing, but lots of work. So
yeah, you got good, pretty good information from the TTS that we did in July. Huh?
Yeah, yeah.
I was at an interesting meeting with these folks and talking about, the defender versus attacker win rates. Is it a little heavy in one side or the other? What can we do to tweak it? And it was just a really interesting discussion to be part of. We're able to tell what camera's on now. It's new technology. It's very exciting to me. So I want us to kick off the match because we can talk throughout it.
Yep.
We need not waste everyone's time. So let's jump into the match. If you aren't aware, because we know this is a wider audience than we generally have on our weekly show,
is it?
in addition, oh yes, there's thousands watching right now. No stress, no pressure.
None.
21,000 just on
21,000.
Twitch. In Marching Fire, yes, we mentioned the Breach mode.
Yep.
It's not just a single map. As I mentioned, we wanted to show another map. We'll get there. So multiple maps, but also 4 new heroes coming to the game.
Yep.
There are 2 of them in this build you'll see today, the Tiandi and the Shaolin.
Yep.
The 2 captains of each team are playing as those characters. So you get to see them in action, in Breach, to give you a good sense of some of the content coming. But stay tuned later on the show today to see a big new feature coming in Marching Fire. We have a number of great streams from now between October 16th where we get to reveal more and more of the content coming in Marching Fire. So you're not going to be bored for the next couple of months as we lead up there. So stay tuned, everybody, for more details. And as I mentioned, there's a PvE mode that we're not just yet talking about.
Exactly.
Which is also pretty exciting.
It is very exciting, actually.
Quite different.
It's very, very different, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
It is. And they're still loading the map.
Yeah.
So that's why we're stretching right here.
So did you mention what version of the build this is?
This is basically the E3 build.
Yes.
So it's
exactly.
ancient.
Yes.
So it's what the people tried during the camera.
Yeah.
During the TTS.
Nope. Red.
Oh, what is the?
I don't know what
is
green
the
light
green
means.
one?
Green light is very
That
distracting.
one. Green one means go.
Yeah, green usually means
That's red,
go,
yeah.
but now you want red.
You want
They have no designers on this.
But yes, in game dev terms, a build from June is super old because it was finished by June, but it was actually even older than that.
No, well, yeah, it was finished at the beginning of June, for the end of June.
Right.
The big thing also is, as I said, we're still tweaking and we're still looking at data. We're trying to get as many matches played by as many different people, try to get balanced team as much as possible. So we got information from E3. We mostly got a lot of good matches during the TTS, where we got a lot of data, confirmed some of the stuff we were seeing, and now the big thing is going to be able to modify these things. So I guess the match has started already.
It has begun.
Was not expecting that, but that's good. We'll as Damien was saying, we're going to mention a few things that we've changed and that we're working on. One of the things that's changing, and because I'm looking at the fortifier getting beaten up right now, or the officer, sorry, dev names versus real name, against the officer. We've made the officers less blocky, I guess is one way of putting it. They're meant to slow you down. They're not meant to be a challenge. So we've tweaked their stances, and they're going to block less, and they still have the same amount of hit points, so you still need to spend a certain amount of time, but at the very least, they're not frustrating. They're not annoying to play against.
Okay.
So what we're seeing here is the attackers decided to go first for the ramparts, so as to make sure that they don't have to worry about the archers as they push the ram. It's going quite well. You can see here the...
No, they still don't have the second. They don't have the first point yet.
Yes, but it's interesting to see that he still pushed forward. So that means you can stagger the defenders and keep them from actually contesting that zone. And you can leave one of your teammates to cap it fully. So it's a very good strategy to make sure you have the time to cap it in one push and not have to go a lot of times and waste tickets as you do it.
Well, and this is a little thing again that changed. And I'm not going to go through everything, but one of the things that changed is that staying in the zone while you're fortifying and capturing it permanently is going to go faster than if you leave just your guys. So that's really important. So you're going to have a choice, a strategic choice to make as an attacker. Do I stay here, or do I go ahead and get rid of all the archers, or try to intercept the other pikemen that are coming?
Oh, cool. No, feel free to share any more of the changes. I think people will be 20, 30,000 or so. We had a few thousand number of people who did the tech deck in July, so they will be excited to hear what little changes came out of that.
And a lot of the stuff it's important for us to do those tests, not only for the data, but also for what people say on the forums.
Oh, yeah.
The more people talk about the forums and stuff they like, they don't like, the more we can modify and change and improve the stuff. One of the key things that came out was people felt they didn't understand why we're not giving renown for revive like we do in Dominion, for example. The main reason is we wanted to focus on fighting, but then by reading the comments and starting the conversation again on our side, we decided that maybe it would be a good thing.
Yeah.
So it's a positive thing for the attackers to do it, but now it becomes also a positive thing for the defenders to do. It's like, oh, okay, well, I can wait for you to respawn, or I can help you and bring you back and get a little scratch for it.
Yeah.
Just to go back to that match, I'm looking at it, and you can see that the attackers, their ram is almost docked at the door, and they shielded the ram. So that means they took the flag that appears and they brought it to the ram itself. Just explaining for anyone that maybe didn't play on the TTS. And that's a very good move from the attackers, because it makes their ram last that much longer.
Exactly.
That's also one of the features that I really like, the changes that we're trying out and that we did for the shield on the gate and the ram, because right now it's one cauldron hit plus a bit more on the ram.
On the ram itself, yeah. And the same thing on the gate. If you put the shield on the gate like they're about to, it adds an additional hit, so it takes longer for the ram to break it. I'm sort of wondering what's happening with the attackers. We're seeing a lot of the attackers, the defenders right now. So if we could switch to the attackers, that would be great. Or not.
Yeah,
or
we haven't seen one of the captains play in the main lane. Yeah.
So now we're down in the lane. There's a few things again. Some of the timing issues for the shield flag has changed so that it doesn't appear as often in that build. We were seeing
because you found that people used it too much.
Too much, and it also it can unbalance the game very strongly. So it's not that it's easier, but it's more predictable if it doesn't happen as often.
Yeah.
And one of the things we want to make sure, if we want this to be a mode that players play more in competition, it has to be not super predictable, but you need the players to be able to say, oh, I know this is going to happen.
They have to be able to plan.
Yeah, exactly. And if it happens too often, then you can't plan anymore.
Right.
Yep, exactly. Interesting thing to mention here is even as the attackers, if you have fully pushed the main lane and your ram is docked just like this, like in this situation, it's still very important for your team to kind of keep control of the ram, because the hits are only gonna charge if there's minions and players around it. Going faster if there's minions and players both. But if you don't keep that control around the ram, the defenders can basically stop the ram fully, and we see a lot of swings like this, just the defenders doing a very good job at stopping the charging of the ram, and the attackers just realizing that their ram has been docked for 5 to 6 minutes and they're just not moving.
And it's literally melting at that point.
Yes.
Our players are starting to get into it. I'm starting to hear screams and swears.
That's good.
Which is good. Which is good. This is what we want. We want as much streaming as possible. One of the things we looked at is the pikemen and how you interact with them and all that stuff. There's been some minor changes. The biggest changes is external blocking them and how easy it is to external block them. It used to be pretty hard. We've tweaked that. It's now easier to do so. You can now dodge roll to not get hit, which you couldn't in the TTS version. As far as their health and the damage they do, we tweaked a little bit the damage they do. We didn't really change it, the damage they can take. We want to make sure that they are a threat. They're not... the core idea was to not have them like Dominion, where they're just kind of blades of grass. They are weapons that you can use. They're something you can pull back in. They're also something that is very effective to get renown, so you can level up much more efficiently. So they need to be a little bit
more
tough.
substantial.
Yeah, they need to be substantive. They have to have some teeth to it.
And ultimately, the name of the game for this is that, design-wise, while this is the intention, making them, the fighting has to be, as we said, you have to be able to predict. So you have to be able to tell for sure, if I block this way and the pikeman is placed in a certain way, I'm going to block it for sure, which is not something we had in the TTS, and it makes the experience much smoother.
Yes, definitely.
So yeah, I mean, in fact, we they are not exactly the minions, the soldiers from our Dominion mode.
Yeah, that's why we
call them pikemen because they hold pikes.
They hold pikes, they have a big shield. So it was important for us to get... It always sounds a little silly when we say, oh, we changed our name.
Yeah.
Well, they're not the minions, they're pikemen, and that's why they're more substantive. Yeah. And they have to be they have to be a threat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can see here one of the side effects of, well, it's not really a side effect, but one of the things that was happening a lot in the TTS build, you can see there's a flag already on the ram.
Yeah.
So right now it's, I think, it's like 3 times less often, a bit more than that.
I believe the in the TTS it was, I think it was every 90 seconds that it would spawn.
Yeah.
We're down to 3 minutes from the beginning of every round, with a 4 minute after once it's spawned from the time it's used. So much less frequent. Who's playing the Shaolin, I believe?
So the Shaolin is Alex.
It's Alex, eh? Yeah.
Yep.
Peak Alex.
He's one of our dev testers, and the other, the Chiandi, is Frank, another one of our dev testers.
And we try not to play against the dev testers.
Yeah. They usually play together.
Too humbling.
Yeah. So what we can hear, what you probably can't hear at home, is the strategizing of the two teams right now. Both sides are kind of talking. Sorry, I'm spoiling this for them. Both sides are kind of talking about the Guardian.
Yeah, they're in the Guardian area right now.
Yeah, the Guardian is an optional thing.
It's an optional thing. We're still playing. The whole idea of the Guardian is it's a neutral AI that whomever manages to get the last kill on gets a bonus, and whomever helped get it in the same team also gets a bonus. We're playing right now with exactly what the bonus is and who exactly gets what, but we want it to be an activity that's 15 to 20 seconds if you're all ganging up on it, so it shouldn't eat too much time, but at the same time it's giving you a slight boost. The reason for the neutrality of it also is so that, let's say you're playing with Guillaume and I'm on the other team and you guys almost got the Guardian dead. I can sneak in and get that last little poke in and I get everything and you get nothing, and then you get pissed off and you don't play with me anymore.
And it's everyone who's in the area on your team when it's killed.
Yeah, we're still playing with that. We one of the things.
Michael Anthony, that is the Trash Kensei I mentioned earlier.
That's a Christian stream. What are you doing?
Swearing at his coworkers right now.
Oh, that was nice. One of the things that we saw is we thought the power level was good, but then when we talked to some of the top players, high top players, they were like, that's way too powerful. We tend to hide for 90 seconds when one team kills the Guardian. So it's always a very tricky thing to be able to balance it, especially if you want something that the very competitive scene can pick up and do something and have fun with.
Right.
Yes, we can see one of the coolest moments in a breach match is when a team kills the Guardian, they kind of all come out of that little cave and they're all super boosted up. Yeah. Just take over the main lane, take over the ramparts. And
pretty intimidating.
Yes, and depending on your skill level, like the amount of boost we give has a very different impact on the match. So this is what we're looking at.
Mike is actually pretty decent. He just got a good kill there against Frank.
But wasn't Frank almost dead?
I mean, Frank was almost dead. But, I don't want Mike to be too sad. He fights better when he's sad, but I don't want to be too.
He fights better when he's sad. How do you know that?
Well, I've tested it.
Is that?
Tested. He sits next to me. I tested extensively throughout the
Just making him cry all day.
Not far from the truth.
That's a different way of salty gaming, I guess.
yeah.
Sad gaming.
Is that gaming?
You get to see Damien here, actually. Damien is that blue...
Who's getting beaten up?
Double team.
Yes.
Double team, which
That's the
is
son of
pretty
someone who
trademarked
had.
for Mike.
It's the son of someone who had revenge ready, but didn't activate
Didn't quite
it.
do it on time. So if you'll notice a lot of group fights.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots of group fights.
There's a lot of group fights in this, but what I like the most is that there is a definite risk to spending too much time inside
Yes.
those group fights. Because, yeah, sure, you might be beating those guys up on the ramparts and, oh my god, yes, you're advancing and you're capturing archer points, but if your ram is just getting destroyed,
Yep.
that might be useless.
You need
Same
to
thing in
spread.
the reverse. If you're just pushing the ram and you don't care about the ramparts, your minions are just getting shot down by the archers almost immediately, and ultimately you're not keeping the main lane for a really long time, and only needs one attacker to counter you, and you're good.
And it becomes also difficult. If you don't have the ramparts, the more you're pushing the ram, the harder it is for you to keep on pushing it because your minions will tend to get killed. And one of the things that Guillaume was saying is key. It's that it's not just you around the ram that makes it advance. It's you and your pikeman makes it advance that much faster and charge up that much faster. So having the archers is super important.
So I would say the attackers are doing pretty well here.
They're doing well.
They have 3/4 of their health on their ram. They have 17 respawns left.
The ram is about 2/3 of the way.
Yeah, but the gate is shielded. So the gate's going to need 4 hits. So that's about 2 minutes.
So that shield doesn't just decay over time. You have to actually knock it down.
Yeah,
You have to knock it down. So having that one extra hit to do, that adds about 30 to 40 seconds more that you have to stay alive. So therefore, you have that much more chance to get attacked by the pikeman and get attacked by the cauldron.
I want to just answer a few questions we've gotten from chat while we're here. Easy Target 97. Do we get Breach today? No.
No.
This is part Marching Fire comes October 16th.
That was an easy target.
That question was an easy target. Thank you. Who is Rahman playing? I believe Rahman is the Orochi on the
attackers.
attacker side.
Yeah.
That was a question from Kildaroy.
Yeah, we don't have his feed, if that's what you're asking.
Serentrix asks, is Marching Fire free or do I have to buy it? So, the 4 heroes that it comes with, like our other heroes in the game, they're unlockable with steel.
Yep.
You can buy them with the Marching Fire pack, which gets you them as well as the PvE mode. I don't have a price on that for you to share, but yes, it's unlockable by steel, and you have the option to purchase. If you purchase, you get some couple weeks of early access to those heroes, which was what we do in the past with our season pass for the DLC heroes, basically.
But
I think
Breach,
it's worth mentioning.
Breach is free. Though.
Breach, yes, Breach is free for
we
everybody.
want everybody to play Breach.
That's right. Yeah, regardless, on October 16th, when Marching Fire comes out, you will have Breach. You don't have to go buy a separate game or anything. You're not splitting the community. Yes, good clarification. Thank you.
I'm going to talk about something interesting that's happening here. You can see with the widget, it just started moving again, but the RAM was stopped for quite a long time. Unfortunately, the pikeman didn't seem to do much damage to it. But there was a shield, so the pikeman actually
They killed the shield.
killed the whole shield before it gets to the door, which is super interesting because it's going to make the cauldron that much more
Effective.
that much more effective against it. And the attackers going, they're down to 13 tickets. Ram is not dock. The tables might be turning.
Turning a little bit. One of the things that's interesting and that we were talking about earlier on is the fact that it's easy for the defender's mission is fairly straightforward. Kill, destroy the ram, right? The attackers have to be really careful that we found to not focus too much on killing the defenders. It's good to kill the defenders, but if you start focusing too much on it and you lose track, your ram's going to get destroyed and you lose.
Right.
It's that simple. So we see a lot of people that the first time they play like they play Dominion or they play like they play Elimination, and they just try to kill.
Yes.
And then next thing they know, they're looking at the ram is dying, and it's like, oh, but we can't do anything. It's like, well, you ignored it.
Right.
So it's a little trickier to play the attackers because you got to split that focus, but it's so rewarding.
So this defender group right here is focusing their efforts on ticking down the respawns.
Yeah, and that was super cool because they the attackers had that flag, and they actually denied it, took it for themselves, shielded the gate.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because I was thinking that this flag was going to be the saving grace for the attackers. It put them in a really strong position,
No, it's
guaranteed guaranteed
right
them
around,
the third phase. But now it's not. They have 10 tickets. If the defenders are careful and
oh, they're down to 9 now.
yes,
it could be okay. The big thing also, as you said though, it's letting the defenders grab 2 flags usually spells a world of hurt for the attackers. It's very hard to come back from, but
it really
they might be good. Like if you look at this, I think Damien's about to get thrown down.
Damien's
he
doing his
knows.
best. He's doing his best right here.
But again, yeah. So
he threw his controller.
no, I think it slipped.
Yeah, it probably
I really think it
slipped
slipped
out of those sweaty hands.
Sweaty hands.
Sweaty
He's
data
like
hands.
really drinking water right now.
Some hardcore sweaty gaming going on. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting.
Honestly, I thought
they're docked now, also, right?
this phase actually really turned things around because of the first phase, I thought it was super dominant in favor of the attackers.
But see, they've taken the shield off the gate, so they have 3 more hits to do.
So it only needs
They're
3
about to
hits.
do another one.
How much time does it take per hit?
It's about 30 seconds.
Okay.
No, actually, it's longer. It's 45 seconds because they don't have the double arrows, which means that there's probably only minions around it and no attackers. So if the moment they go there, oh no, they hit it once more, right? So there's 2 more hits.
So that seems super important. So if there are more of the attacker players around the ram
No, if there's only attacker players and minions around the ram, it's going to go at double speed, which is about 30 seconds to load. If not, if there's no attackers at all,
right now
it'll stop completely and it'll start taking damage.
How many of the attackers need to be there? Is it all 4?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. It's kind of like the zone in Dominion, right? As long as you're in it,
is there.
Exactly.
Great.
And it's cancelled out if there are defender pikemen that are there.
Yeah.
It's gonna
So
be
then
only
you go
1
back
arrow.
to regular speed. But the thing that's happening, so now they have the shield also. They're in a good shape now again because
it turns around so fast. Yeah.
They have a shield, so they can take an extra hit. They have about half their health, so they can take, I believe it's about 4 more cauldron hits. And all they need to do is hit once, but now they're stopped.
Yep.
So they need to get it moving again.
Yes, and they have to be careful while doing so because they have 7 tickets. In this build, do you remember how many tickets you get when you break the door?
There'll be 4 tickets they'll get when they break the door.
And is that, you say that in this build, is that a thing that might change before?
It's one of the easier things to play with, so
yeah.
we'll try
Although, honestly, at this point, I think we're pretty happy with the ticket situation. It's one of the things that we're the happiest about. Notice also that in this build, we still have the minions, the pikemen interrupting execution or revives. It's very contentious. I know a lot of people in the community don't like it. We personally think just to watch where you're fighting, and
it's part of making those guys a threat. Huh?
It's part of the spatial awareness. You need to play this correctly.
And if you don't do it, then the problem we have with it is then you ignore the minions and you always do your execution and you don't care. And since tickets are super important for the attackers, we want it to be like, is it a good moment to do it? It's not a good moment to do it. So
that was a good question from Gerald of Rivia. Gerald X of Rivia.
FX? X? Anyway, that guy.
So we're in the final phase now.
Yeah, now they're the king. So they managed to make the king. As a sort of, I was pretty sure that we're going to make it, but they only have 10 tickets, so that's 2.5 team wipe.
Yep.
Yeah, so they're going to have to make sure that basically for the attacker, the name of the game here is they have to make sure that they push as a group.
Yeah.
And because you don't want them to trickle in, because they don't have the luxury to do that. You can't have like someone dying in a random places where you can
revive
get
right
revived.
there. Oh, and he stopped it.
That revive is going to be costly for them. It's going to be a ticket.
So the other big thing, again, like the Guardian, we said we're still working on the behaviors. We've changed the behavior from this build. The same thing's happening with the king, the commander, who's called the Lord in this.
Yes, the name keeps changing.
But yeah, so we're tweaking the behavior, trying to make sure that we can't kite him as much out of the zone, that he knows how to deal when he's out of the zone to come back. We want him to be there as safe as possible. And there's a bunch of little other tweaks.
It's the same thing we're saying with the pikeman. The name of the game is that basically the design intention was there, and then it was just to make it predictable, and you're able to plan around it because there's no RNG in what he's gonna do.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, they're down to 8 respawns left.
So we have a very tight end game.
Commander's at more than half health.
Yeah, I wish we could see what's the feat status for the attackers.
We can't because of our picture-in-picture.
yeah. But depending on what they have unlocked and what's on cooldown, they might have something in their back pocket.
Oh, there we go. So
thank you.
So
nice.
what I'm sort of going to assume that defenders don't have, or some of them have the level 4, but not all of them, whereas the attackers probably have. And it's a bigger deal for the attackers to have their level 4 because then they can do AoE attacks on the king.
Which is also something we improved.
Yeah, we've fixed a few things. AoE attacks were a little too effective, so we haven't nerfed the attacks themselves. We've nerfed how the commander reacts to those attacks.
The king.
He ignores them a little bit more.
Got it.
Actually,
wow, another throne controller. Getting real in here. I think that one was Roman.
Very slippery controllers.
It's very tight. And now the attackers are kind of in danger because 3 of them are dead. There's only 1 left. I don't know if he's going to be able to get some revives in. Defenders.
Well, no, there's only one possible revive right now, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. So if he doesn't get that revive, that's 3 tickets that are going to be gone right now.
Well,
he's getting executed. That's 4 tickets.
This is
so they're going to be down to 3 tickets.
They're down to 3 tickets.
That's one push.
Tough.
Just a quick shout out to the UI team that did a really good job about the UI on this. One of the things I love about this mode is the new team widget that's on the top. Knowing what's happening with your teammates without having to look at the scoreboard is something that's super helpful that I really, really like.
Yeah, Picalex is... oh no, that's not Picalex.
No, that's not Picalex. That's...
He's being very gutsy because he's alone in the king zone and he's very low HP. That might be just a sacrifice tickets there, although he's holding his own. So
yeah,
we'll
they're doing
chipping away at the commander pretty well.
He's about a third. So
yes.
Oh, but now look at that damage go down.
Yeah.
Oh,
commander is defeated. Attackers took the win on that one.
Damn.
Just people breathing sighs of relief.
That was good.
To say Breach is intense on the players playing would be an understatement. We spent some days where we play 5-6 games in a row to check different changes.
Yeah.
And you're like spent. You're like,
I'm
going to go take a nap. This was a little too much.
It was that day where I was just too salty to keep going. It was hard giving feedback, you know.
Yeah. Can we get a camera shot of Michael Anthony? Is that possible? I just want to see how he's feeling after that tight win.
He doesn't have makeup. How can you do
he's
this?
good. Oh yeah, there it is. There it is. Go to the red light, Mike. Give him a thumbs up. There it is.
You look like a normal person. Good job.
So great game. Thank you guys very much for walking us through it, giving some tidbits about. I said it right that time.
Yep, that's good.
About what's going to change when people maybe get to play it in October. So Breach mode comes for everybody in October. It's not an additional cost or anything. So now we're going to do another little... Oh.
And come see us at Gamescom.
Yes. Yes.
You'll be able to
You're
play.
in Europe. You get to play it.
Even if you're not in Europe, come over anyway.
Yeah. It's open to everybody. So we're going to do a little transition and come back with Damien and another one of our dev team members to present a new feature unannounced currently coming to Marching Fire.
Noise.
Hello. I have switched sides for this segment just for you. We are back with Mr. Damien Keegan, as you know.
20 takedowns.
20 takedowns.
20. 8 deaths. Not bad.
8 deaths. I
Not
feel like every one of
bad.
your deaths was caught on camera, though.
And I healed. I gave full health back to the king. It in the end didn't help, but I tried.
Yes. And we have Alicia.
Hi.
Lisa, you've never been on the stream before. Why don't you
Never.
introduce yourself? Tell us what you do here.
Hi, I'm Alicia Forte. I'm a game designer on For Honor, and I'm part of actually Bio's team.
Shout out to
She didn't get
Bio.
today, but she worked very hard on
yes.
this, so
This-
very excited to present it.
This feature is a group effort, obviously, but
Yes.
I don't want to delay it because we're going to take you through a beautiful PowerPoint, which our man Michael Anthony did contribute very much to. You'll see some very fancy PowerPoint animations that were his brainchild. So we do love you, Mike. Even if he's not great at Kensei, we
It's
do
good
love
that he's better at PowerPoint than
exactly
playing with the Kensei.
exactly. That
Yeah.
is his main is PowerPoint. So let's
Think
get into
something
it.
you could say for
Let's
myself.
get into it. I think people will be excited. Damien, you hinted last week it might be related to something about gear.
Yes.
Okay.
Something about gear.
Take it away, my friend.
Let's go. So look at that.
Ooh,
Woo.
I like the dragon.
Yeah.
That's a Mike original.
So
Yeah, Mike
we're
did-
going to speak about gear progression in Marching Fire.
Let's hit it.
And before I go on everything, I want to say something. It's the biggest feature Alicia's team is working on. Like they worked on that for many months. Just after, in fact, you started before shipping Visual Collection. It's their big feature of the year. It's the thing they put a lot of love and hard work into it. And so it's a big thing.
Yeah.
It's a big thing. So what will we do with the gear progression? So first I will go through what the current state of gear progression is. Then I will present you the new system because it's a full new system on gear progression that we'll go through. Then we'll show you an in-game video commented by Alicia herself. Then we'll go through juicy details about that and finish to transition plan, which is what will happen to what you already have.
Ah, beautiful.
So current states are gear progression. It's gear visuals plus gear statistics. Pretty straightforward. Everybody who plays For Honor knows that. So gear parts have statistics. Every hero has access to the same 18 stats. And we've done a ton of updates since launch to make it the best way as we could. So we reduced the gap between high and low level gear. We introduced stats on default gear. We've rebalanced some builds, some stats. We changed some stats. We removed some stats. We put another one like defense penetration and things like that. And we introduced new builds throughout the year to have more choice and allow the players to create meaningful builds. And this is what it looks like today. We're taking the Conqueror as a reference because, Alicia, you love the Conqueror, right?
Yeah,
Love the Ra
shout out
emote.
to Andre, whose conqueror this is from the live game. Had get before pictures.
So we have different gear pieces that have different stats attached to them, etc. But we faced, and we're facing, in fact, some limitations with the gear statistic system. Limitation that we discussed several times already in the Wires Den. It's not something really scalable. What we mean by that is that we did increase the values during the first year, and it was planned before we launched, etc. We knew what would be our max value. But we knew right away that we wouldn't be able to increase that max value because the game is about skill, not about stats, and we don't want to go through that line, if you want. So we can't really increase the value. That's why the refined steps, the refined levels are right now more a fame thing, I would say, than a real thing because it's not really changing your stats anymore. We can't keep adding new builds because the more builds we add, the harder it gets for the player to get the specific build they want, because we're creating more and more builds to loot. So it's not a route that we can take either. And looking at the stats themselves, well, we had some stats at the launch. We removed some of those. We changed some of those. And we went a bit through the stats that were interesting, meaningful, and that we could balance well on all heroes, because all heroes have the same stats. So that's the scalable part is more for us, but we're a live game, we're a game as a service, and we always want to improve it. So it's important for us that we know that we have something we can improve on, we can add things to it, etc. Gearstat is not really the case. And another thing is that the gameplay impact of Gearstat can't be anticipated by the player. So if you have legendary gear, I don't know what you have equipped, and I don't know how many life you will have. I don't know how many damage I will get by doing a heavy hit or a light hit on you, etc. So, and this is the main reason why stats are not activated in rank, because we want rank to be more predictable for the players, so that they know what are the trades, what they can do, and they can calculate everything and have good tactics, which is also something that we would like to change. So, so here is our solution to all of that, and where we want to go with gear progression, starting with Marching Fire. So we've decided, we asked the team, Roman and me, we said, okay, we have a challenge for you. We want you to fix all of the things we just said, and we want you to be scalable, etc. And I will go through that. And that was their challenge for the year. So we wanted them to keep the current system strength, so that the match outcomes are determined by skill, not gear. We want to have a small gap between low and high level gear as we have today, and maybe even smaller if we could. It must be scalable for us. It must be a system that we can improve and add things onto afterwards. And in the end, not at launch, but in the end, if people like it, if the community likes it, it's something that we should be able to activate on ranked play as well.
To be clear, what we're presenting right now, if it's not
what
clear,
we're presenting right now
comes in Marching
is
Fire.
one of the big new features of Marching Fire.
It's because we had a question, we just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah. So K4RIO.
Yes.
Here is your answer.
Yeah, it's like Korea with leet speak.
Maybe it's easier to say it like that.
Yeah.
So that was the challenge. And on top of that, we gave some guidelines. So we wanted that the gameplay impact can be anticipated and adapted to. So if you have the gear, I know in advance what will it mean for the match. So I can counterplay, I can adapt to that, and I have the knowledge of that. That's the first thing. We wanted the gameplay impact to be consistent, so directly linked to the point before, so not have different values and things like that. For us, it shouldn't compromise the art of battle and the fight system and how the game works, but more complement it. Yeah. And in the end, we wanted it to bring meaningful decision to gear building, and even more meaningful than today. It's like I have real choices, and I need to make those choices based on my playstyles, based on maybe my team composition and things like that.
Got it.
So gear stats. In Marching Fire,
I want to prepare everyone. Here comes one of these amazing animations.
Gear stats in Marching Fire are
say goodbye.
Out, and they will be replaced by perks.
Oh, beautiful.
Those little icons.
Hello, perks.
Hello, perks. So, what are perks?
Oh no, tell me.
There are in-game effects that you can activate when the right gear is combined, and Alicia will go through that.
Yeah.
It's something that is always displayed on your hero, and on other places we'll go through it as well. And maybe Alicia, you wanna go through it?
So one thing that's important for the perks is the effects are passive. They're not gonna have a new input like we have with feats. They'll be activated through other elements of the gameplay. If you go to the next.
Yeah.
Consistent, so no values variations. As we said, we want you to be able to know, okay, they have this perk, so I know what's going to be the effect. That being said, there are some perks that can evolve throughout the gameplay based on renown, for instance, but those are things you can keep track of, and the amount that they increase will always be the same.
Okay.
So I can't equip different gear, and if I activate a certain perk, I'll never make that perk stronger. It always is as it is.
Okay.
Yeah. And synergizes with modes,
Perfect
feats,
word.
perks, and teammates. Yeah. So this is a really, I think, what's new and interesting with perks. As we said, the gear stats, every hero had the same 18 stats, so kind of the same gameplay has come out really often, whereas here, different heroes have access to different perks, and it will change which feats you choose, depending on which effects you're going to combine. We'll see a bit more some examples of effects in a little bit, but yeah, that's really important to us. We want to create new, interesting combinations.
So maybe you will have different loadouts based on which mode you play, based on which people you play
teammates
with,
have,
or what
Yeah.
heroes they pick up, and things like that.
And even with the other perks you have.
Yeah.
And this is also really important. So the perks are a lower power level than what we have with feats. So if you go to the next slide, there's a beautiful example based on our beloved Conqueror. And it's a very scientific graph. The feat level, power level, and versus the perk power level, which is a bit lower than even level 1 feat. That's what we're aiming for. So what we were really happy about, we had the star players come try out the perks, and what they said to us is it didn't influence the core duel, but it influenced the way that they played the rest of the mode, and that's really the kind of the sweet spot we're aiming for.
It's not a game changer, but it's a nice edge, a nice addition, something you want to play with.
So as we talked about transparency, so perks, as you saw, it's like a cute little icon. So when people have perks activated, you'll be able to see it in the lobby with your teammates. You'll be able to see it in the face-off screen, and in the scoreboard, you'll be able to see which perks people have activated. These screens are work in progress still. The textures aren't necessarily the final
everything is work in progress, but we still
yeah.
wanted to share the whole thing with the community and start the discussion about it. So now let's go on the video.
And this video is what I found, because going through this, I had a number of questions, and then when I finally watched the video, I was like, okay, this is making a lot more sense now. So
So first,
pay attention, everybody.
before I hit play, could you explain what is going on here?
Right. So here you can see the gear, and each gear has different perks on it. In this first screen, all the gear has 2 perks on it. There can be some gear that have 1 perk on it.
Like
and basically, and they give points towards activating the perks. So on the right side in the center there, you can see the list of all the perks available for our beloved Kensei. And you can see in white is Devourer.
Yeah.
It's a hard one to pronounce. And
Very metal name, though.
yeah. And that one gives 15 HP more when you execute. Of course, the values I'm going to say are placeholders, something we're still tuning, but that's where we're at right now. And you can see that they have 40 points on 100 on this gear, so I could actually go get more points if I crafted it.
Yeah, but you don't need to because you reach
I don't need
the amount
to.
of
I have
points
600 points.
it.
That's all I need to activate it. If I had 610, it would still do the same thing.
So here, for example, what's going on?
So here, I've selected a second gear, and then the system's telling me, hey, you're going to drop to 560 points. It won't be activated anymore.
If
but I
you
can
equip
see,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can see that I'm gaining points for Aegis, another one of our perks with the beautiful shield that glows. And I'll go more into what that does when we see the other perk that we're going to activate as well.
So here in the video, you will try to equip those 2 perks and not equip Devourer anymore.
Yeah, we're going to try to activate the 2 first perks. So you can see if you pause here, one of the feedback you'll see as we're equipping things is the gold bar. Gold is our new upgrade color. So what this allows you to do is see ahead of time what the impact will be if you crafted the gear that you have equipped or selected. So here we can see, okay, I have 460 points in Devourer, but I actually have enough points that if I went and crafted and upgraded the gear that I have equipped, I could reactivate it, but that's not what we want to do. And I can see that for the first perk there, called Shields Up, that one has a little bit of upgrade potential that started coming in.
So here it means that if you upgrade, like on this item and all the items that you have equipped, so not all the items on your inventory, only the items you have equipped, you would be able to push shield up to here, but not up to its activation.
And that's really important
So
for
you need
us.
to equip something
Yeah,
else.
and we want to be sure that people understand what they're going to get before they invest their salvage, before they invest their steel into upgrading their gear.
Cool.
Yeah, so we'll keep going.
So here you're looking for the right gear, so
Yeah.
the gear that have those icons, the same icons as here, to try to find the ones where you're able to activate the
Exactly.
two perks.
Because the first
Because
two perks here,
are on and off. It's something we haven't said, but until you reach the 600 points, you can't activate a perk. Oh, look.
Oh,
Here
wow.
you will. So now you know that by equipping that, you're able to activate that one.
Yeah, and now
here
I
it
see
is,
it's in white, it's on, but the first one there, shields up, isn't on yet. So if you pause here, we can take a look.
But you can craft up to it.
So we can craft up to it. And the reason I want these two perks together is Aegis, the first perk, the shield with a little star in the middle. It's really cool. It gives me a shield when I spawn in the game.
Nice.
So I start with a 15 HP shield. And Aegis actually increases the amount of shields I get by 20%.
And all shields.
All shields.
So this one,
This
but
one,
also
the ones
any
you get
other
from
shield
Revenge,
coming
boosts,
from Revenge
certain
boost. Yeah.
feats.
So it's a pretty cool...
yeah, so you can have Aegis on its own, but it also works really well with shields up.
Nice.
That synergy we were talking about.
That is synergy.
Yeah, there you go. You use the word.
Check.
Check. Synergy.
So then you can see I'm missing like one step.
Just 20 points short of that 600.
Here we go. Last one. And I have this beautiful new animation that tells me it's my final step.
If you
and now they're both activated.
Beautiful.
Congratulations.
One thing to note here, if you pause. So you can see like the little chunks around the circles of the perk icons. Those represent the crafting steps.
Right.
So right now, upgrade steps. Right now with gear stats, you can upgrade 5 times.
It's the little arrow thing.
Yes, the chevrons that go up. And the new gear will have the same amount of upgrades. It'll also have refine. We'll go more into details on that later. And when you have gear that has 2 perks, the steps are randomly divided between both. But you'll always have 5 total.
Cool.
And here it's the advanced view. So we have kind of an advanced view where you can see all the points you can get from each gear piece that you have. So you can really, like, in advance, create your build, strategize, and know where. So, like, let's say now she wants to equip Devourer back, but she needs to look at, okay, on all those slots, I don't have any Devourers, so those are the ones I need to change and things like that.
Got it.
And you see the amount of points. So here you see that you have 200 out of that. So maybe this one that gives only 100 is something that you can remove to have something else that gives 100 plus Devourer or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think this is the video.
That is the video.
And something very important, Eric.
Yes.
Like in any Warriors Den, if people have questions,
yes,
they need to ask.
Start asking.
Because I'm sure
we will
there are
answer.
plenty of questions.
That was also part of the reason we wanted to do this now. So we have a good run up until Marching Fire to answer questions that come out about this, because we know it's a big change.
Yeah.
So
So
feel free to ask them now. Pascal will grab them for us.
And in the meantime, we'll go through more details. Maybe go back to some of the things we said on the video and go through more details. We won't reveal all the perks right now. We won't. That's not the idea. But we want to go through the details of the system, how it works, and how we want to do the thing.
Yeah.
So as we said, how to activate a perk is defined by which gear you equipped and the amount of upgrades you've done on those, etc. Each gear can give points up to 2 perks.
Yep.
So it's either 1 or 2 perks. You need to accumulate 600 points towards a perk to activate it. So if you're at 500 something, it doesn't do anything.
590, not quite
there.
there.
It's like being at 0.
Yeah.
Like no difference. It's not like gear stats where you had a progression. Here it's on or off. You can activate up to 3 perks at the same time, and we'll go through that as well. So here on this example, the Valkyrie now, she has already 1 perk activated, and she can equip 2 others just by equipping this item.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. So the variety,
Yeah.
production-wise, we've produced 21 perks for Marching Fire update. We have 7 offensive perks, 7 defensive perks, and 7 assistive perks for support
I'm not
perk.
sure that's a word.
Yeah,
I don't think that's a
no. So this morning when we reviewed again the presentation, we're like, that's not a word, and I checked, it is a word.
It is a word.
It is
well,
a word.
Wow.
good, because I
So-
wrote it in the first one, and I thought someone would
exists.
change
It exists.
Yeah, and this
Maybe-
comes back to the idea of playstyles, right?
Yeah.
We want that to really reinforce these different kinds of playstyles and be able to give it to the heroes we think they work best with.
So let's go through some questions. Obscured edge. So what if you spent money on gear and you're gonna wipe that and people gonna lose out on gear? So this is
Yeah.
this is the transition plan. Brace
Coming right
yourself. It's coming in 5 minutes. We'll go through that.
Slack.
What's happening with refined gear now? Same thing.
Same
Also
We'll go
happening
through
in a
that.
few minutes.
Those higher gear give more perks or better perks. We'll go through that as well.
All slides.
And can you have
Sooner.
all the perks at the same time? The answer
Max
is no.
3.
Max 3. So
Sometimes
we produced 21 perks, and out of those 21 perks, each hero has a predetermined set of 7 perks.
Yeah.
That could be either offensive, either defensive, either support perks.
Yeah, some people might have pure offense. Some
Yeah.
people have a combination
Exactly.
of both.
And by default, so if you don't have any gear equipped, you have 1 perk that is always activated by default.
Yeah.
So when you start a new hero, you have 1 perk. When you are maxed gear, you can equip up to 3 perks.
Yeah.
That's the difference you have in the whole progression.
Yeah.
So maybe you want to go through the different
Yeah,
default
so
perks for
yeah.
all the heroes of the game.
So we're going to be
at
revealing a
Marching Fire.
few, and you'll see that there's heroes that are tagged in each group. It was for us to organize, who's getting which set of perks. So we kind of group them together. So the heroes that you'll see together will start off with the same sets. Those can, of course, change over time, but for now, they're going to have that. So the pure offense perks, we've got those delightful heroes, and their default perk is Galestorm. And that makes it so on hero kill, you gain 20% movement speed for 10 seconds. Really, this is all about like going off
To
in
go
the
from one
battlefield
field
and
to
getting
the
one field
other,
to the
yeah,
next and
yeah.
being a real threat. If we go back to the defense, so we've got the perk Aegis, which we mentioned before, which is 20% more from all shields. So revenge, boosts, other feats, other perks, all shields. And then we've got heroes drawing from more the offense and defense. So right now they have a defensive perk as their default, but the other perks in their set will draw from both families. And it's shields up. So when you revive or get respawned, you get a 15
More shield.
health shield. So then we have some merge of offense and assist, which isn't shown yet, but that's okay. They have an offensive perk, Devourer, which we mentioned before earlier too. And if you go to the assist, defense and assist.
Why not?
Fun animations. Their default perk is Remedy, so when you have a hero kill, so that's not a takedown, really you have the last hit on a hero and you're the one who killed it, you get some healing from that. There's some feats have similar effects, but this one's just slightly less useful than those ones.
Okay.
So they can complement well, or liberate those feats to be replaced with something else to bring in a new combination.
Cool.
And finally, the assist, they have Radiant Rebound, really to get back into the fight and be able to help their teammates. When they spawn or they revive, they get a movement speed boost to get them back into the fray.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So how the progression works?
Yeah, so I think someone asked, do we get stronger feats as it goes? And the focus for us is really to gain more options and not necessarily just more power. So some perks.
It happens.
Oh boy.
Remember what I said earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Words are hard.
Words are
Deal with it.
there. So some perks only available starting at certain rarities. That's also to help you, like especially for new players, they'll have less effects to worry about and learn.
Yeah.
And then as they go, they'll get access to new effects. And those newer effects aren't necessarily stronger, but they might be more situational. Some of them might involve parries, which is a bit harder for newer players. So as you go, you get some that are a bit maybe trickier to pull off, but also have a good payoff.
Cool.
So as you just say,
Yeah.
we aim to have an horizontal progression and not a vertical one. So here, if we take back the example of the Valkyrie, at first she starts with those 3 perks that we won't detail today.
No, and
we
the
just
cat
leave
perk is great. We worked very hard to get this cat
We
perk.
should make pins of these.
And so you will have to guess what it is, but we don't go through them today.
Curious, like.
But as you can see, at each rarity, I unlock a new perk that I can equip. So, meaning my purple gear will have some of those attached. This brain perk.
Yeah, Pascal took it away, but there was someone who asked a question like, if I have a high level armor, can I still have the low level
You can
perk?
still have the low level
Yeah.
perk, and you have access to other perks. And we'll go through that in a second. You will see what it changes to.
Yeah.
And legendary, another one. And so what is interesting here is that the better your gear, the more combinations are available. And here we're going a bit in design detail. But the idea is to say, okay, at the beginning in gray, you can equip 2 of those 3 perks that are at the top left.
Yep, understood.
And then you go blue, it's 2 of those 4.
Makes sense.
And as in purple, you have this new thing where you can equip 1 of the first 3 perks or 1 of the 2 other ones. Or you can equip 3 of the first 3 perks as soon as you reach epic rarity, for example.
Right.
And here you can see that some perks can come only in pairs, while others can be equipped at 3. It's also a way for us to balance their power in a way.
Like that, if you look at the last rows, you can really see that. Like the last 3 perks, you can have 2 of them, or you can have 1 with 2 of the first 4. But you can't have all 3 of the last ones.
Yeah.
Those are really ones that can be more archetypical of like the role, or maybe are a bit like more powerful or something. But they're not, as we said, the power level of perks in general is not something that's going to change the outcome of a match.
Okay.
Yeah.
And something else that's really important to notice here is in Epic, as soon as you can have 3 of the first 3 perks. Well, in the end, if you like the cat perk, remedy, and radiant rebound, and you're happy with that, and you're not interested in the other perks, you can end there. You know, there's nothing that forces you. I mean, you won't have the cool visuals. There's other reasons to get the higher level gear.
Yep.
But in terms of gameplay, if you're happy with those 3, if you're happy with the first 2, then you're happy with the first 2. We're not trying to make the first ones obsolete.
Got it.
Yeah. So the big question is, that's cool. System is cool. It sounds cool. But what happens to your gear that you spent countless time on it, that you've upgraded, that you have different loadouts, whatever. It's you spent a lot of time of your current gear. So what do we do with that current gear?
Let's find out.
Let's find out. So and that was one of the mandate of the team as well, is to come up with a new system, but think about what's the transition from the old to the new system,
Right.
and how do we do it the best way for the players. So the idea is that everything you have in your inventory, all the items you have in your inventory, after the update, they still matter. You will still use them. We don't wipe them. We don't delete them. You keep them, and they still matter. And on top of that, we keep everything as close as we can. So if you have a specific gear score, so like 27 on a piece of gear, etc.,
You made it to max.
after the update or made it to max, after the update, it's still to max. So it doesn't
Instead
go
of the
down.
arrows, now it's little ticks around the circle.
Yeah, it's same steps, same upgrade level, same score level, keep to max. For the refine level, we're evolving the system, so it's different, but it will be done to an equivalent step, and we will explain you how.
Yep.
And same visual. So if I take the example of the Lemia helm of the Valkyrie, this is the Lemia helm today, season 7.
Got 2 levels of upgrade.
Exactly, it's a 27, 2 levels of upgrade. Well, when it will be switched to perks, you can see it's still at 27, still the same visual, still 2 levels of upgrade. So no progression lost.
Yes.
That's the idea. Then how do we move from stats to perks?
We want to make sure that people can start playing as soon as the update goes without having to muck around in their inventory.
Right.
So what we've done is we convert your equipped gear different than we convert the rest of the gear. And so the equipped gear is going to be swapped with perks to guarantee that you have at least 1 perk on, if not 2 at higher rarities. And then the non-equipped gear is going to be randomly assigned with what's possible at that rarity. So if we go a bit more into detail, so the predetermined perks, so for each hero and each rarity, we decide which perks will be on those gears. And if that means if I have all purple gear, all my gears will have the same perk on it, which guarantees I'll have 600 points, which guarantees that I'll have a perk activated, and I can go straight into gameplay.
Great.
So if we take the example of the Lemia helm, if I had it in purple and I had a non-crafted gear, so I would get something that looks like this. And then if I have the Lemia helm and at Legendary, well, maybe we'll give you points towards 2 perks. And depending how much it's activated, I'll at least have 1 perk, how much it's upgraded, I'll at least have 1 perk activated. I might even start with 2 activated right away.
Very cool. Okay.
And for the non-equipped gear?
Yeah, so...
still defined per hero, still defined per rarity.
Yeah.
This is still true. But then the perks are assigned randomly. Why? It's to give variety, to give a possibility for the players to play with different builds, maybe change the perks we gave them by default.
In the weeks leading up to Marching Fire, if people want to kind of hoard some of their inventory, when we switch over to Marching Fire, it gives them a lot to kind of sort through and maybe play around with.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay.
There was no good way to do a conversion of this bundle to that one. It's very obscure. So the best thing we could do was the random.
Cool.
Yeah. So this, for example, the Basset Helm, if you haven't equipped it, could become any of those perks. Because those are the perks that are available at that rarity.
So the beautiful volcano perk.
Yes.
Volcano, not gonna.
So it might not be here at launch.
It might not be here. Sorry.
It is cool.
Sometimes
I like the dice myself.
To do icons.
Yeah.
I like the dice icons that you put there.
The dice are gorgeous.
So what's cool? I see you could have potentially 2 perks at less points, 1 perk with more points. That's cool.
It's basically anything that you could loot at that rarity. That's something you could get, but you'll have the same visual, and it'll be crafted to match the gear score of everything in your inventory.
Cool.
That's really important too. So it's not only the gear score of what you have equipped; it's all your gear. So if you have crafted, upgraded gear in your inventory, it'll still be there.
Okay. How are we doing, Pascal? Are people getting it? Is it making sense to the audience at home? How do you guys like it?
It's less questions than before.
You got questions? Shout them out.
Last thing about that is how do we do refine?
Right.
And then we go through the question. So the idea with refine is that we go with we have more steps in refine after the update. So we do an equivalent saying if you were refine level 1, before the update, it would become refine level 2 after the update.
You can put the image, we have an example. So you can see on the left, that's the current refine. You've got all the beautiful chevrons and the
this
diamond.
one is not refined yet, but it's refinable.
Exactly.
And what you get is a refinable perk version of that.
Yeah, with 2.
Because you have 2 perks, you have 2 steps of refine.
Exactly.
Instead of 1, which is pretty cool.
Because one thing that's important too is with perks, each one gets upgraded separately if there's 2 on the gear. So you can really choose in which order you want to invest in it. Whereas before you had to pay for the whole gear all the time. So now you get to choose.
Cool.
And if it's already maxed out, so if you already did the steps of refine, well, the steps are already done as well.
Okay.
And if it was a refine level 2, well, it's a refine level 4 now, becoming 2 perks. And same thing, if it's done or not done, will be also taken into account.
And if it's done halfway, then you'll have 2 out of 4 that are activated.
So, in summary, perks are replacing gear stats in Marching Fire update.
Wait, what? Just kidding.
Let's go through everything again. Perks are passive in-game effects. Those effects are consistent, they are visible, and they synergize well with game modes, with the hero you pick, with other heroes picked by your teammates, with other feats and things like that. You can create interesting builds. The gear that you equip defines which perk is active. You can activate up to 3 perks. The higher rarity you go, the more choices of perks you can activate. And the current gear you have will be converted to the new perk system without losing any of your current progression.
Excellent. And I think they made such a long PowerPoint just to give you more crates with the Twitch drops.
Exactly.
And more chances to win 100,000 steel. Thank you so much for the extensive detail. This was our point. We wanted to give this much detail to you, so you have a few weeks to think about it, to ask questions, because we can answer next week or the week after or the week after. So let us know how you're feeling. We'll be reading the comments on Reddit and stuff.
This is one of the big new features of Marching Fire we didn't reveal yet. We have another one to reveal at Gamescom, as you said, which is our PvE content.
Oh yes.
And
I made a list this morning for Pascal of all of the things we haven't shown yet.
It's a lot.
This was the best one.
And
oh yes, the best and most extensive one.
And please send some love to the team because they work super hard on all of that.
Yeah.
and we're having a full season 7 coming with a lot of things to reveal too
that's a good
well.
Transition for me, Damien.
And it's a lot of work. There were a lot of people yesterday night when we were working on that presentation that were working on the game.
Right.
So yeah, it's thanks to them.
Yes. So thank you, everybody. And like I said, digest the info. Talk to us on Reddit. We'll see what you think, and we'll address more questions on future shows. We aren't even halfway through the show, though. We still have all of the Season 7 stuff to tell you about. So Maddie is just being like, move on. Do it. Show me the stuff. So let's get into a Season 7 segment. Let's talk about that now with a little nice transition from our friend Max, and we'll be back with Roman and our dev tester, Alex, to show you our Warden and Valkyrie updates.
Woohoo!
Thank you. Very nice.
Hey, we are back. I've switched sides yet again. It's because I need exercise. Roman, Alex, how are you guys doing?
It's fucking freezing here.
Yes, you're welcome. You'll notice I am not coated in water.
It's 85 degrees outside, and here it's like...
It's like 65 degrees. It's great.
Yeah, maximum.
I
hate you.
I'm never leaving this room. So we got a couple of hero updates to show this season. I will mention that also the fight team has prepared blogs that should be going up. If they're not up already, should be going up today that go in depth on these same subjects. Stefan, our old friend Stefan, can't be with us this week because we sent him to China.
Yep.
He's at China Joy, so I hope he's watching from China. I don't know what time it is there. 2 in the morning or something, but shout out to Steph. All right, so let's get into it. Let's start with the Warden, shall we? So, Rahman, what...
Can we see the Warden?
We can see him whenever Max wants to cut. There we go.
Thank you, Max. So the Warden. So we made some modifications to the Warden. Basically, the goal was to give him a bit more options in fights and make some of his moves a bit more interesting. So we started with the shoulder bash. So now you can feint it at any moment, right? So at any point, or almost any point during the shoulder bash, you can cancel it to something else. But also, you can charge it much longer to catch the guys that would try to dodge it. So that gives more versatility to the shoulder badge, make it a better tool. The thing that has been removed is the direct cancel to guard break. So now you need to cancel then guard break. You can't soft feign it into a guard break anymore, but you have many other options out of it, right? Alex? What you think?
Yeah.
I'm asking you a question.
He was in the
Okay.
zone.
Well,
Right?
Yeah,
I
right.
need to answer that.
There's the new move now to catch the rollers.
So
Do it.
also, yes,
Yeah.
you have so you can do that, but then you can also dodge forward and do a heavy attack. So that's the new move of the Warden. It's, like you say, it's really good to catch somebody that is trying to run away, that is trying to roll out of you. Like you do your shoulder bash, he dodge back, you can chain it into that move. It's really interesting. Then also, we change the top heavy finisher. So previously, the top heavy finisher was just dealing a lot of damage. Now it's unblockable. So basically, now it forces your opponent into reaction. Force him to dodge, try to parry, try to do something. Can't just block it anymore. In order to balance it, now it's slightly slower, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a good move now.
Rahman, why
Yes.
did we want to update the Warden? We didn't. We probably should have started with that.
Why? Because so the Warden is one of the first character. It's actually the first character we made on that project, and it has always been good. But lately, with the new characters, the new mechanics, and even ourselves as designers getting better at creating characters, we thought that we needed to refresh him a little bit.
Yeah.
And also, in terms of tier list, in terms of win-loss ratio of the Warden, he was a bit too much at the bottom of the list for us, and we wanted to give him a bump.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt. Pascal demanded.
Problem. Know what we said? F you, Pascal.
Yes. Yes. Give a good FU Pascal to the chat for old time's sake.
Because he's reading you today.
Yep.
I saw him.
Yep.
Also, no zone attack and sprint attack can chain into the heavy finisher. So you can sprint attack a guy, zone attack, heavy, feint to zone attack, then to heavy finisher. It's becoming really an interesting move inside the Warden toolset. And the last thing, it's the side lights now are a bit faster in order to help the Warden initiate from neutral. They used to be 600 milliseconds left and right light attack. Now they are down to 500 milliseconds. So a bit faster to initiate from neutral.
Heavy finishers up to 40 damage.
Yeah.
Damage.
No, it's a good move. It's hitting hard, let's say.
Yeah, it's a hard hit.
So no, Warden has always been a really popular character. I think now it's gonna be better.
Yes.
There's also a stack modification to crushing counter. Now you get a free light after it.
Yes. So if you perform the crushing counter and it successfully lands, then you can chain with the light attack. You can combo actually with the light attack if you're a bit good.
Come on, Warlord.
One warlord, please.
doesn't want it. So that's the eye level that we changed on the Warden.
Okay.
In more detail, did I miss something? Zone attack, crushing counter. We just spoke about it. No guarantees a top right attack. Shoulder bash. So the charge time, no, the maximum is 1 second, 1,000 milliseconds. So it's up from 800. Can be cancelled to faint at any point, and you have 100 milliseconds after releasing the guard break button to faint.
Cool.
Good? Yeah, I think so.
We're good with the Warden?
We're good with the Warden.
So now,
Let's check out the Valk.
To the Valk. So, same thing with the Valk. It's a character that we wanted to upgrade for 2 reasons. We wanted to change for 2 reasons. First one, it's because she's a little bit low in terms of win-loss ratio. She's currently really bottom tier, at least in duel. And also, one thing, it's the character is currently a little bit a one-trick pony. Like in duel, she's really predictable. In group fights, she's only gonna do the fully charged shield tackle stuff. So she's really not that interesting to play. So that's what we're trying to go. That's where we're trying to go with the Valkyrie. It's to give her a bit more options, to give her a bit more mix-up, and overall to make her a better character without making her too strong into a group fight scenario. So we made a first group of change. Then we had the TTS on PC. We got a ton of feedback. We've made another update.
Okay.
And now we're gonna see how she goes when she's live.
Okay.
But it's
an
ongoing story.
Okay.
It's that's not necessarily the final version. We want to continue to watch and maybe continue to act on the Valkyrie.
Do you want to start with the changes we made from the TTS for those folks who maybe got to play her?
We're gonna start with what we changed,
okay,
and then what elements because we
as you
for
like.
Everybody. So let me take my notes. Yes. So Shield Crush changes. So Shield Crush was a risky option for very little reward. So now it guarantees the second light attack in a chain, and it has a shorter recovery time. But to compensate for that, you can only do Shield Crush after a heavy. By cancelling a heavy, you can no longer do it after a heavy attack. So if you can show that quickly.
Only on heavy, no follow-up.
No.
As soon as I do heavy, then I can rush and counter-strike, and I'll have a free light.
Yeah. So now it becomes an interesting move with an actual punish after it. New chains. So now the Valkyrie has access to all possible 3 chains, making every hit in a chain more unpredictable than before. So if you can show
so many chains.
Yes, all the different chains that the Valkyrie has.
5 new ones.
Yeah.
And we've changed the spear swoop. So how does it work now, Alex?
You can do it at the same time as before, but now it's back and it's the X button instead of back heavy. And now you have a dedicated follow-up by pressing heavy attack.
So we've changed the inputs and we've made the finish better. And also the move is slightly faster.
Yeah.
But in a group fight scenario, you need to be careful because it's gonna hit also your friend. That was the feedback on the TTS, like it's not necessarily that great because you need to be careful with your friend. Yes, placement in a group scenario is important, and if you just gank and stack on each other, then yes, it can be an issue. Is it too much an issue with her? We'll see. That's the kind of thing that we'll continue to monitor. And you show the punish after the sweep.
Yeah, it's just by pressing heavy attack, you'll hit them on the ground.
Good. Then the other thing that we change is the full block stance on the shield tackle. It was so we tuned it down because we felt it was too strong on the group fight scenario, and it was too much a good answer to almost everything. So now the idea is really to use it how it was meant to be. Like, it allows you to dodge an attack and counter with a melee move that lets you open your opponent, and then start your chain and potentially land the sweep, etc. And not a go-to move that will counter almost everything.
Yeah, and you won't have the protection while you're running anymore.
Yes, we've removed the super armor out of it. But the full block stance out of it. So same thing. That's a big change of the Valkyrie. That's enough, actually, of that move. We feel we've improved on other things, and I will continue on that detail. But that part, we nerfed it. Same thing. We'll monitor how it behaves and maybe make some adjustments to it. In terms of changes, after the TTS, we've made the second top light strike faster. So in the light chain, the second top light used to be 500 milliseconds. Now it's 400 milliseconds, so it will be to make it easier to land the second light attack. The sweep damage, the sweep punish damage, has been increased. It used to be 25, now it's 35. So when you land the sweep and then you do the punish, you deal much more damage. The zone attack, now each strikes deals 20 points of damage, used to be 15. So to make that move more interesting. And the guard break miss recovery movement has been standardized with all the other heroes to make her on par with the rest of the roster.
Yep.
These are the main change we made after the TTS. The full patch notes, you will have it, but
yeah,
some elements that I wanted to highlight. Yep, you wanted to say something?
I was just going to say, if you wanted to look at the full patch notes, they should be up now on forhonorgame.com/patch notes. But yes.
What can I say? So other things that were already in the TTS on the light attacks. So like I said, the top finisher light attacks are now, so not only the second but also the last one. They are 400 milliseconds, used to be 600 milliseconds. The side light finisher are now 500 milliseconds, used to be 600 milliseconds. They have special hit reaction that push the opponent on hit and can stagger the opponent if he has his back on the wall, like this, to lead to more damage. Shoulder pin now counts as a chain starter, so she now has a real deflect that is actually useful, that will deal bleed damage. Then you can continue with your chain, then you can sweep, etc. And a lot of other things.
There's a lot going on there, so
yeah, it's
there's
a huge patch note for the Valkyrie. Overall, there's been a lot of improvements, but those are the main ones.
Cool. Okay. Yes, and we have more fight updates happening in the patch notes. We're going to come back later on the show with Roman and Damien to do patch note details, but we'll get to that a little bit later. So I think that will wrap it up for our fight hero update segment. Thank you, Alex. Roman, you stick around. We will now bring you the new map that is arriving in Season 7. So we'll bring out our map fellas, and we'll be right back. It's map time. Roman, are you ready for map time? Guys,
Hey, Rick.
welcome back.
Hello, hello.
Hey.
The dynamic duo of art and design.
Yeah, we're friends.
Yes.
They've become friends because of this show, I like to think. So, Nico, you are our art. What is your specific title?
It's associate art director.
Yes, and you focus on
So
maps.
Christian's associate.
Right.
Yeah.
Christian's associate. Christian is on vacation.
Yeah.
He's not here this week with us.
Yeah, he deserved it. So.
And Ed, you're on the design side.
Yes,
Cool.
I am.
So, with your powers combined, we are going to check out our Season 7 map, The Secluded Keep. And I think
that map has been made by Global Studio
yes.
in Brighton. So, again, really good job, guys.
I think we even have a picture of the Gobo team if you want to shout them out.
Please,
yeah.
shout out to the Gobo team. They gave us last season map.
Yep.
They gave us that map this season.
Oh, yeah.
Gave us also the new all the new tutorial system and more things that we will have to reveal later this summer.
Oh yes.
But they worked on that map. That map is really interesting. It's a much more short range encounter map. It's a really fast-paced level. I think it's really interesting. No?
Yeah.
It's a very compact map, so there's a lot of gameplay, but Ed is going to show us the thing. I can talk about a bit the story of this map. We were inspired by the water castle. We also call them like island castle that were built in the medieval era in England and some other countries in Europe. And so we had that idea of having like a very small kind of a fort, that is built on an island, surrounded by water. And so Gobo started, Studio Gobo started to work on sketching out, that kind of place, because we had a lot of references in our hands at this time. And we ended up with that super masterpiece that Ed is going to show us. So before we went through that tunnel, we were in the main courtyard. Here we are. Ed is going to show you. So this is the main courtyard. In front of you, you can see the keep that we are going to go through in a few minutes. So you can talk about the
Sure, yeah. And so, I mean, since it's tribute maps, it's a bit smaller by design, and which makes it a lot more interesting. This map very much works more on a vertical level rather than being stretched out. So kind of a la Tower Ruins in a way. So there's a lot of verticality, different levels to it. And it's very interesting. We'll take you through the whole thing as we go along.
So it's a map for duel, brawl, elimination, skirmish, and tribute.
Yeah.
Oh, and you know what? We actually have some narrative text to read to describe this. I should do that. You want me to do that? Do you want to do that? I'll do that. It is told that the secluded keep was the personal retreat of a pious lord. He lived the life of a monk in the fortress, paying daily homage to his ancestors. When the war arrived, armies saw the strategic value of a fortified castle surrounded by waters and invaded it. What was once a haven has become a highly disputed outpost holding precious supplies.
Eric the voice.
It's a really beautiful map. They put a lot of...
So on that side, it's more like a collapsed part of the map. So where you see that a part of it has been flooded by the ocean, by the sea. So like good opportunities to throw people out of the edge. And then if we look back,
it's their indoor pool for when they're not fighting.
Yeah, exactly. And here we get into the chapel, but it's more like a ruin, like the remaining part of a chapel.
Yeah.
And there's a nice cat and mouse that we can play around the statue that is at the back.
This is where Nobushi and Warden are going to have their wedding. In front of that.
This is the thing I like about a lot of our maps is they kind of tell a story just in their design. Like you can imagine what this was before it was destroyed, and it's pretty cool to just think about that world as well.
Yeah, because we really wanted to feel like the war, like the time that passed around this. So part of it is still clean, where the other side is totally collapsed and
right. And what's interesting in Tribute, this right now we're in a skirmish game mode, but in Tribute, this is where one of the shrine. I think there's 2 shrine placements in this area, so it'll be interesting for players to discover that.
There's one shrine in front of the
So now we get into the keep. So what's interesting about the keep is like it's almost like a sandwich of a 3-layer sandwich.
Yeah.
So you have like the bottom that Ed is gonna show us after. So it's more like a catacomb type of environment. You have the main floor, and you have an upper floor, upper level where you can DFA people. So so like we said at first, it's full of navigation. It's very compact, so it doesn't take that much time to go from one side to the other side of the map, but there's a lot of verticality opportunities.
Yeah, and it's really cool to have the catacombs finally in one of the maps. I know on the level design side, I've been trying to do a catacomb.
And you failed.
Kind of map. No, I tried doing a full catacomb map at one point, but it was just a prototype I was playing on, but it didn't work out really well. But this is a really cool part of the map that I always enjoy going through. And what's really cool about this map is like you have all these intertwining shortcuts. So once you have that banner and you have to make your way back to the other base, it's really cool. You can weave in and out of sight of certain areas.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities everywhere. So
yeah.
So Studio Gobo made it where you failed.
yeah.
Sure, let's frame it that way.
But you advise them, right?
Yeah. No, this is all them.
So now you get into like the third part that is a more like organic area that probably where they have their stable and that kind of thing. So again, you see like there's 2 layers, so you can play with more verticality. Actually, there's 3 layers as well in this area. Because you have this big wall that we can...
You can go on the rampart then.
And then we're back in the middle.
And so from here you can access the gate, yes?
Yeah. I also want to show a pretty cool feature. I think this is the first little taste players are going to get of our cauldron.
This is the baby cauldron.
Yeah, yeah. So this is the instant cauldron, which it kills minions and the soldiers coming out into the area. There's one on the opposite side as well, so both teams can kind of have fun killing each other's soldiers by fiery death. And
players.
Yeah. And so this is similar to what we're gonna have in Breach. There's a little teaser of it, but in Breach it's a bit of a
bigger scale.
Yeah,
I like to imagine this is how the castle got set on fire.
Yeah,
they built these cauldrons that dump automatically on the ground and set their own castle on fire.
So yeah, we have that.
And so then we get toward the main gate.
Yeah, and this will serve as one of the other player bases, I believe, in Tribute.
Yes.
And here what's cool is you see that gate over there. Similar to Sanctuary Bridge, we have this little awesome trap that's a fan favorite. So that is the most direct path to each player's base. So, if you want to cut off people from taking the quickest route in and out, you have to make them take the upper floors or the lower floors to get across by cutting off that entrance.
And again, that pass is not available in Tribute.
Right.
And it's closed from the beginning.
Oh, right.
This map will be playable in right now it's in Ashfeld, but you will have it in Meyer and Beckenheim.
Like all the maps, it will be present in all the different environments of the game.
Cool. Yeah. So that is the moat.
Excellent.
Very nice map.
Yeah.
The secluded keep.
Secluded keep, yes. Sorry.
Cool, guys. Any last bits you want to say about that? And we will move on to our next segment.
No, I mean, I just think Gobo again did a really good job on this one, and this is actually a very fun map to play in Tribute. It's very fast paced, and I think that works really well with Tribute.
Cool.
And again, like the quality, the more they've been working on maps, the more the quality, has improved. And once people are gonna play this map, they're really gonna see like the difference. Everything is super clean, so it's a very nice map.
Nice.
Very fun to play.
It really feels like a real place.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a castle. It
really
does,
nice. Yeah, it definitely does. Great. Well, thank you, gentlemen. We are going to now check out the new weapons coming to the game in Season 7, aka today, right now. So we're going to do a quick transition and be back with Anthony. And I switch sides again, burning the calories. I've got like 5 steps today. How you doing, Anthony? Welcome back to the show.
Thanks, guys.
Hey.
Anthony's one of our texture artists, and he, if you haven't seen the show, is always who comes on to present the new gear that comes with the season. Or
These are blacksmiths, basically.
Yes, he's our blacksmith. So this season is no exception. We got some really cool weapons to check out. So let's dive right in.
All right. So we start off with the knight weapons as usual. So this is the Warden sword. And it has a beautiful pearlescent material on it this time.
Skeleton horses.
Yeah, the
Dead
skeleton
horse.
horses. And a crazy pearlescent material on it.
Oh, that's really
First time.
cool.
It's the first time that we use this material on any weapon.
I like
Wow.
It's very beautiful.
it. Wow.
It's Peacekeepers.
Same material.
No,
No.
not this one. This one is damask steel.
Still.
Yeah, and as you can see, it has a crazy design on the blades.
Oh, it's a gecko.
Yeah, on top there.
Nice.
Use the gems.
This is the Centurions. So we have a oxidized bronze on the handle, which gives a green color. It's pretty cool, actually, when bronze oxidizes that way.
Oh, yeah. Damn.
I
This
like
one.
details in the holes of the blade and so
I
on.
feel like
Yeah.
each season the detail gets more and more intricate on these things.
Yeah, we can say thanks to all the artists working on this. It's they're doing a great job.
Yeah.
This is pretty crazy. It's a statement on its own. This one's very elegant, very nice weapon.
Small axe.
Yeah. Very intricate details on the handles. Paint. It's got a lot of materials on it.
Pascal's lost his damn mind. I
This
just want the
one,
chat to know that. Oh, all right. More tentacles. Here we
yeah,
go.
This is very cool. Like this is a very Lovecraftian weapon. So we get the Cthulhu-looking beast on
Holy shit, that's
Oh,
amazing.
it. Yeah, this is crazy.
Yes.
Get
Yes.
that
For all
Cthulhu-looking
the
beast.
gladiators out there, I think
Yeah.
this one is a must-have.
Yeah, this one is very beautiful. I love the way the tentacles hold the blades.
Wow.
It's pretty nice. So let's go see the samurai ones. This one's very cool. Very cool design on this one.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Even the guard is very detailed. Got these spiders, the demon spiders, and the web on the whole blade. It's pretty cool.
Wow.
This one also is very unique weapon, very unique blade on it. I love how the detail reacts to the lights.
Nice. For my
Yes.
new Orochi.
Yeah.
So we got some colorful weapons on the samurai side.
Yeah, yeah. And
All right.
look
Oh yeah, we have this one.
And that was Eric Poe.
Yeah.
This is good.
Shugoki.
This is a good representation on the
Wow.
design side for the paint.
Yeah,
It's
it looks
Very nice.
crazy.
Yeah,
worn.
dark
And
metal on
it's
it. Yeah, there's a little fox in
Fox,
here. Yeah,
yes. It's awesome.
it's beautiful.
Okami.
This is cool. I love the symmetry on this one and the difference in colors.
Shinobi's butterflies.
Yeah. This one is nice.
Yeah.
It's got some dark metal, some red metal, some copper and black metal. It's pretty nice.
So again, all of those are the in-game weapons. It's not specific models.
No,
it's
exactly.
the weapons the characters are holding in their hands.
Exactly, it's available for everyone now. So this one is pretty nice. It's got that design.
Raider.
Yeah, the Raider's weapon. It's got the tree, the Yggdrasil tree from the legends.
From the saga.
This next weapon is very nice. This one's cool. It's got a little storytelling going on the blades. Very intricate details on it.
Wow.
Oh. Viking ships, snail shells, or horns, maybe.
Yeah, these are shells, and you got tentacles coming out of them.
Sold. People should be aware these are available right now in Season 7. And we've only been doing this show for 2 hours. My energy has dipped. I'm going to bring it back, guys. I'm thinking about sandwiches.
This one's beautiful. It's got a
Snake
lot
stuff.
of details on it.
For the new Valkyrie.
So it has the damask steel. It has a lot of the snake details, the reptilian details on it. It's beautiful.
Amazing.
And again, it's painted wood.
This one's painted metal.
Painted metal.
Exactly. So we have copper and gold, and the damask steel on top.
Ah, cool.
This is crazy.
Oh, wow.
This is very nice. Making Odin proud with this one. The crow on top.
A stack of skulls.
Yeah, for the handle.
With the crow.
Exactly. We have that stack of stones, stack of skulls for the handle.
Looks like a Motorhead album.
It's a beautiful blade. And finally, this one. Very cool detail. I love the blade on the dagger.
Yeah.
Yes, it's awesome.
It's very cool. Very nice
Again,
details on it.
Shaman got the nice tools.
And this is it.
Wow, that was awesome.
Hell yes.
And so all of those weapons are available with the new patch.
They are. And Roman, I want you to tell people that we have not stopped creating armor.
Why do you want me to say that?
Because they yelled at me because I told them we wouldn't be presenting new armor today. And they said bad things.
Actually, apparently somebody forgot to remove an image from a presentation.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, so maybe you don't need me to say that.
Great. Good stuff.
Hein, Damien?
But yes, the team has not turned their backs on making armor. As we've said in the past, it's a much longer process than weapons. But if you're good, you might get something new.
But be nice with Eric.
Yeah, be nice. That's all I ask. Thank you so much, Anthony. I love seeing the close-up detail on those things.
Thanks.
I think the community likes it too. Yep. I was also told during that segment that you've got some admirers in the chat.
Really?
So we'll put your number up later for people to call
please
you.
Don't.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
If you want his number, you can DM Eric. He will be happy to send it to you. So please all send DM to Eric.
Okay, and we're going to bring Damien back out, Dr.
no.
Data himself. Oh, yes. And we're going to go through the rest of some highlights of the full patch notes. So let's hit that transition. How's your energy?
I'm good. I'm pumped. Woo! Woo!
So just Fred apparently said, someone tells Eric I need his voice for storytelling in my life.
Sure.
He is my senpai. He floods my sense completely. Someone tell him,
Flood
please.
your sense?
Completely.
Woo! I don't know exactly what that means, but I think I'm
Is it
flattered.
positive?
Yes, it's definitely positive. Good transition.
I was like, I don't know what people think about perk because I don't know. But
Yeah.
you don't know.
'Cause we were up here the whole time.
I was about to ask you, but
Yep.
you were with me.
I was right next to you.
So that was anyway. So I'm happy to be next to you.
You flood my sense.
So we wanted to shout out some of the highlights of the patch notes. In previous seasons, we have multiple shows where we do this.
Yeah.
But we kind of compacted it this season where we only had 1 week of off season. So we're doing it all in this show.
We did the rank thing
We did.
last week, though.
Indeed.
So as a reminder,
Yes. Good transition. What is the ranked thing we did?
We have a huge update on ranked play starting right now, season 7, where the idea is that we want to focus people back into ranked play. So all the previous rewards from previous seasons are back. Now you can play ranked without going through tournament, and it's becoming the main way to do it, in fact. So during the whole week. In fact, it will be also true this weekend. So whole week, this weekend, and next week, you will play ranked duels directly, not through tournaments. And we will reintroduce tournaments ranked next weekend. So not this week, but the next one.
Okay.
And try to do it maybe every weekend, every 2 weekends, depending on the community feedback. Because now you can get all the tournament rewards in ranked play as well. So you have a chance of dropping those each time you win a match in ranked play. And the biggest thing I haven't said yet is we're introducing Master Rank and Grandmaster Rank. Master Rank are the top players who go above Diamond 5. And then among those, the top 100 players in the world will be the Grandmasters. And you can see that through our new leaderboards in ranked play.
And
so
today
when
we
you're
have-
Grandmaster, you will have a number that
Yeah.
will give you that position on the
Yeah.
your position on the leaderboard. And so
Yeah.
you can be number 1 if you want.
And you have a skill rating that goes up each time you win.
And today you reset the ranked, right? So everyone's starting from the
Reset
same
rank,
position.
So you're starting from
Great.
From scratch. You need to do unranked matches to be ranked again. And I can't wait to see.
So at the beginning of the season,
the
Eric
leader.
Pope is the Grandmaster, right?
Yeah. We had an image where I was.
I love the. So if you start back the game now, you will have what we call our celebration pop-ups. So the things that are welcoming you in the new season with all the new content, the new map, the reworks, etc. And the team, which I think is super funny, they did the leaderboards, but they had to put names. They were like, what names do we put? I was like, whatever you want. And they said, Eric is first. And then what I love is that I think the best player in the whole list is at the bottom, which is Stefan.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's funny. And I think you're better than me in that leaderboard, but it's only in that leaderboard.
Wow.
So max rep increase.
Yeah. Yes, it's a question I was about to answer on Twitter. I was like, have we said it yet? I was like, maybe not. So I will wait a few minutes more. We're increasing rep. So last time we did it was 2 seasons ago. 2 seasons ago we went up to rep 50. Now we're going up to rep 60. A lot of players ask us that. Not a lot of them, but the ones who care that were rep 50 since now a few months. Ask us that. And it's an opportunity for us to also introduce a new reward at rep 60. Do we have a video or something?
We
yeah,
do.
we do. I did a new and I see it on the screen.
Yes.
It's amazing. So we have a new effect exclusive to the people who reach rep 60.
Oh, damn.
And that's the only way to unlock that.
That's the only way to have this one.
Oh,
And
damn.
of course, also a specific outfit.
And a specific outfit as we always do. And we have a specific outfit per rep levels, again, between rep 50 and rep 60. And what is cool with that effect is that it goes with the ornament we give at rep 40 or 50, I can't remember. And it goes with the outfit we give at rep 40 or 50, I can't remember which one of the two.
Okay.
So if you reach rep 40, then 50, then 60, you can create a mythic outfit on your...
Oh, so you have a plan behind the scenes. I
Yeah.
like it. Oh, damn.
Can we look at the video?
Let's watch the video.
It was a good try. It's amazing. It's amazing, but I'm a bit sad we haven't reconstructed the mythic outfit to show it.
I don't think any of
Maybe
us knew
next
that
time.
until you said this.
Maybe next time.
We're all.
I love this effect.
Yes,
because you seem
great.
so powerful with it.
I do.
Love it. And,
Sorry, we're all
some
chewing
people
into our
in the
microphones
team-
right now. We were given sugary candy in the break to pep us up.
And some people in the team ask us we should give that effect against steel and not give it at risk.
Some people,
Yeah, I won't
Not
say who,
not Damien
but
Keegan.
that's me, and I'm really happy we give it at risk.
It is pretty cool.
I had to be said.
Cool.
Anyway,
There's a bunch of
who
changes
are we?
coming.
And I think this one is really cool.
Yes.
Revive.
We're updating Revive. And
Changing a bit the revive
yeah.
mechanic.
So now, and it's something we're playing with internally, like 6 months now. It's something that was always like that on Breach, because on Breach the Revive have a huge impact.
Because of the ticket system for the attackers.
Exactly. So now Revives will give you only 50% health back, so only half of your health back and not full health.
And it's a bit longer to revive somebody. No, it's 4 seconds. Used to be
Nintendo
3.
free.
Yes, which was actually something we announced for our last patch, but then it turns out it was broken in that patch. Now it actually works 4-second revives instead of 3.
Yeah. So the idea here is that it's less OP to be in to fight as a group and have always people reviving each other.
Yep.
We see the impact on Breach. On Breach is huge, so we can't wait to see the impact on game modes like Dominion.
Indeed. Damien, here's a little improvement on the matchmaking experience.
Yeah, so now we're adding a timer in the matchmaking page. Simple improvement, but something we wanted to do since a long time. So now you will know how long you've waited, because sometimes you can feel
That you've been
differently
waiting
the
for
time.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
It does feel longer than it
Yeah,
actually is.
than actually it is, and it's also a cool way for you to know around when usually you find matches. So you will get used to it, and you will know, okay, it's around 30, 45 seconds, whatever I get matched. So
You can notice trends, if it
Yeah,
gets better, if it
exactly.
gets worse. And
exactly.
Cool.
So it's also a tool for us. It's a tool for you. It's just to have more transparency of what's going on regarding matchmaking that we keep improving each time we
Yes.
can.
Oh, yes. And
Quick
this-
shot.
Yes.
This one, I'm a big fan of it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's made by our friends at Blue Byte, Germany. So our PC team. It's for all platforms.
It is.
So yes, it's something that was requested by the community. Now you can set quick chat to off, team only or all players. It still stays all players by default. But it's something you can change, like you can change the voice chat and the text chat in the game.
You can shut off those wow, wow, wows if you want.
You can, or good fight, good fight, good fight.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty cool too. So you can really be on your own, no communication at all, playing with your music and
That's me.
kill
That's me on the
people.
weekend.
Yeah.
Just don't want to communicate with anybody.
That's never
Leave me alone. Stop tweeting at me. Give me a weekend.
No. You already
can just
you,
shut
you,
off
you already
the
had
phone.
vacations
Yes, I
where I had to answer everything on Twitter.
It's true.
So
You tweet too much.
it's good to have you back. Anyway, Your man, it's not your man, but it could be a bit your man, the
Gladiator?
gladiator.
No.
Yeah, no,
It's a
you
little
don't
bit
like
too
him?
show off for me.
So,
He's lacking about a little bit that ice cold stare.
okay.
But we have some bug fix and improvement for the gladiator. Can you remove that from the screen,
Pascal.
please, Pascal?
You.
Thank you. So we've increased the rotation at the start of the gladiator's crowd pleaser and forward chip shot. And gladiator's Q's third bleed application is now applied at 1.2 seconds after the hit. And basically, this is to prevent the third bleed being applied and still allowing the branch to dodge. Also, another improvement, it's the crowd pleaser, the bee stings. The block recovery has been reduced to 800 milliseconds. It used to be 900 milliseconds. And so this move will no longer lead to a guard break that could not be countered on block. So those moves are not anymore really dangerous to try. Also, we fixed an issue that caused the gladiator's sucker punch to not drain stamina, and fixed an issue that caused the gladiator's sucker punch to not do damage with the Haymaker feat when the feat is active.
Yes.
So some fix for the gladiator. In terms of feats, we've made some adjustments. The Fiat Lux, it's gonna be a little bit less OP. No, it's not gonna deal any more damage. So damage has been decreased to 0. Used to be 25. Still a good tool, a good setup, but not anymore
A damage tool.
a damage tool.
Yeah.
It was always intended to be a setup tool and not something to actually kill an opponent. Pascal, can you stop messing with the patch notes, please? The bird trap. No, the cooldown is increased to 120 seconds. Used to be 90 seconds. The fire trap cooldown is increased to 160 seconds. It used to be 120. And the stun trap, the cooldown is increased to 75 seconds. Used to be 45. Basically, we want to have a little bit less trap in the game.
Mines on the ground.
Yes, exactly. And make some part of the maps or some team composition a little bit about turning the map into a minefield. But still have it useful. So again, feedback welcome on that.
Less,
Did we overdo it? Is it correct? Should we nerf it a bit more? That's gonna be interesting.
big subject that we discuss a lot.
So you're making signs?
I'm trying to get Pascal to change the page so we can see the next set of patch notes.
Hey, you need to tell him he's not really good at
At following the show.
yes. It's because
He has other skills.
yeah, he's on
He's got a
Facebook.
lot.
like speaking French, he's pretty good at that.
He speaks very good French.
So stance change for all fighters. No properly update stance when it's for the Conqueror. So sorry, it's for the Conqueror on the Aramucha.
Yeah.
So that fix for the Conqueror and the Aramusha, puts them on the same level as the other static guard hero. There was an issue with these two specific heroes where their stance wasn't properly updated after being interrupted. This fix now introduced the 100 millisecond instant stance change bug to Conqueror and Aramusha, unfortunately.
Which is
And
fixed
that
in the
will be
next
fixed
patch.
in the
Yes,
next
it
patch,
will be
yeah.
fixed in the next patch.
Yep.
But between now and the next patch, there will also be subject to that bug,
Yep.
like all the
All the
other
heroes. Yeah.
fixed stance character.
Yep.
Also, the Orochi, Peacekeeper, Conqueror, Lawbringer, and Islander in offensive form can no longer perform diagonal back dodge.
Yeah.
So they're gonna be a bit easier to catch since we also nerfed the back dodge.
Got it.
Fit. So we fixed a bug for the Conqueror punch through. So block damage is now doubled. Punch through cannot kill through block damage anymore. The uninterruptible effect on light attacks has been removed. Bleed effects have been removed. So punch through initial setup was causing issue and is in an increasing number of HKs. So we decided to retool it from the ground up to make it future-proof and more consistent with the basic fight mechanics.
Cool.
And then some user interface.
Yeah, those are small things, but we introduced a bug in a 1.25 patch that caused the breaking timer to be displayed when it shouldn't. So this has been fixed.
Yes. And as we said earlier, the full patch notes can be found at forhonorgame.com/patch-notes.
Yeah.
There's a couple other things. Usually we start our season with an event.
Yeah.
What up with that?
Where's the event?
We didn't have time to work on it. With Marching Fire and all vacations, you know.
All those
hard. All those vacations.
Pascal always on Facebook.
Yeah, it's tricky.
So we
in
thought,
fact, in fact, we're changing a bit the
Yeah.
things. We decided this time to not start right away with it. Like we did in the past, in
Yes.
fact. A long time ago, remember, Feast of the Other World wasn't at the beginning of a season.
It's true.
It's not in a too long time, I would say.
No.
It will still be during the hot summer.
Yes.
And
that event is gonna be hot.
and it will be a hot event. And I think an event that will be loved by our community.
Ah, okay. And in fact, we have a little image to tease it. If you just want to throw that up there, it's coming soon.
It's coming soon.
What is happening? Throw up the image of the yes, yes.
Yes.
There you go.
It's volcano time.
People love that
Maybe.
volcano.
Oh yeah.
People love it. So yes, stay tuned. It won't be
So we
long.
won't tell you more, but something volcano related.
Volcano.
Volcano, maybe. Who
And
knows?
like every other week, we actually have content of the week this week as well to show.
Yeah.
Because why not? We have so many other things. Let's also show that. This is a very cool effect. I'm a big fan of this.
And it's really linked to the name of our new season. When you
Yes.
think about it.
Yes, the effect is called Tempest Call. So we got a video if you want to check it out right now. And then after that, we're going to be back with a segment that I'm excited for. We're going to sit down with a couple of our audio folks, talk about game audio in For Honor. Yes, we're back. This man has props. I love props. So this is something we've wanted to do for a while. When we did our season 6 stream, we did an animation showcase, and people really liked getting the extra peek behind the curtain of how we do animation. And then a lot of people said, oh, for the next one, it'd be great to do sound, audio team stuff. And we agreed, obviously. And so we're doing that now. So we're joined by Yves and Alexi. Actually, why don't you introduce what you do and your role here?
I'm the technical audio director on For Honor. I'm in charge of everything sound, music, voice on the expansion.
So I am the Foley artist. I do all the Foley sound effects on For Honor.
Yes, and so Alexi is really an interesting thing that we wanted to talk about briefly. He works here at Ubisoft Montreal, but you're actually part of a team called Alice.
Yeah.
And do you want to talk about how you work with Alice? What is Alice?
On our end, Alice provides us with services like sound design, Foley recording, voice recording, casting, and stuff like that. So we did work with Alexi a lot to do all the characters, a new and old one on the Foley side.
Okay, so what is Foley for the folks that don't know?
But Foley is like it's making sound effects, but with physical props. So most of the time it's done in a recording studio, and it's done in sync with picture. But it can be done outside in the nature or wherever.
Sure. And we got to spend some time last week recording you doing Foley work, which is why you're wearing that amazing jacket. It's not just for show.
No, that's my jacket.
That's just how you dress up. It's fine. So the Foley artist really is what you use physical items, physical props to make sound happen, and then you kind of line that up in the game. You put effects on it, stuff like that.
Yep.
Okay, so we assembled some videos of you at work so we could kind of walk through the way your team builds a character from the sound perspective. So, so how does that start?
Well, I guess that the first thing is to sit with Alexi. We come with images, videos, and we watch them. And he goes out with a proposition, brings some stuff, to start shaking things, and just to make sure that it fits with the movement of the character, how heavy it is, how fast he moves, and stuff like that.
And I saw, and they'll see on the video, you have a ton of props up in the Foley studio upstairs.
Yeah.
Do you just use those over and over, or do you find you have to get new things all the time for new characters?
There's some props that I like using over and over because they are so playful. They sound great when we mix them together. But sometimes, like, I look at the image they give me, and there's different like layers and suit. So I would go like make shopping and go get some new props to have like new sounds to make it different from the last time, because it's very important for us to make the characters sound different from one to each other. So when the player's playing, he can like identify like, okay, this is this character that is coming in, and just by sound. So I like to have new props,
unique,
all the time.
Unique. Very cool. So you don't have on your side, you don't have just kind of a template or a cookie cutter that you go for every character. They all have to have this many layers of sound. They all need to sound like this.
No, not at all. Each character is unique. He moves his own ways, has his own weight, and has his own set of sounds.
Cool. Well, let's dive into the videos to give you a reason why he's wearing this jacket. So our videos kind of go through that process of the layers that you put together for a character. We use the TND because I thought that would be cool because it's one of our new characters coming up. So let's start with the first layer that we did, which is cloth, which is actually this beautiful jacket. So let's roll that video and we'll come right back. So how did you discover this jacket makes such a great sound?
Actually, that jacket was already in the Foley studio, and I think it was used for many things, like ripping and a lot of fighting, probably for Assassin's Creed or something like that. So it's just that those factions were like kimono stuff, so we were looking for silk, and I found that this is like shiny and soft, so I turned back that thing, and we used it, and it was working well for that character.
Yeah. So for each of those layers that we're going to show you, it's the audio you're hearing is just from our camera microphone, so you don't get the deep sound that we hear. At the end, we're going to show you a cut with the actual sound recorded through the mic, so you can really hear the zip zaps. So for the next layer on the Chiandi, we move to leather. So let's check that out now. Yes, the leather. So one of the things that struck me, I got to be in there the whole time. So I'm a huge like movie buff, and I love like watching making of. So being able to watch a Foley session was just like candy for me. It was awesome. But it really struck me that what you do actually is an art, and it's quite physical too. It's like a physical art form. Do you find that like they had to keep having you go like the sprinting animation, especially like?
Yeah.
Do you have a regimen you need to follow to stay in shape for Foley art?
I should, but not yet. But just stay focused on the picture and like feel what's going on and see it like on the spot, and then you just let yourself go and you stop thinking and you just like.
Well, that was
improvise.
My next question: is do you feel you have to prepare? Like, do you have to kind of embody the character first, whether it's VR game or if you're doing film or TV? Do you have to kind of understand who the character is, and then you know how you want to feel and move and all that?
Yeah, a little bit. You have to feel like if it's a woman or a man or like the size of the person or whatever, an animal. For example, it was not at Ubisoft, but I did a Batman character at some point, and I was doing footsteps, and it was very difficult for me to. When we were playing back, I was like, no, it doesn't sound like Batman. You know, it's too light. And so during the launch time, it was the first time doing it, but I went by myself. Walking in the street, and like I was thinking like, okay, I'm Batman, and I was walking like for an hour, like feeling like I was Batman. And I came back to the studio. I told the sound recordist, "Let's go. Don't talk to me. I'm
just
Batman."
hit record.
And we did it, and we doubled it. We did it like with 3 layers, because sometimes it does a good trick to make it bigger. And it turned on to be believed that it was him.
You know, it's funny. That's actually how I believe Roman lives his life. He walks around the city thinking he's Batman. So maybe we could have consulted him.
And since then, I still think that I'm Batman.
Perfect. You actually have your leather prop here, huh?
Yeah, so I brought my hard drive full of sound effects.
Perfect. Oh, God. Love it.
So the leather I used for that we saw is an old gun belt from Poland, I think. I got the army not salvation, but the salvage army stuff, which is really creaking.
Oh yeah.
So I like that one, and there's like pockets in it, so it makes like if the character is wearing like gear with him. And I use that bag that I use often. That comes from Salvation Army. I bought it 10 years ago, and it was already all broken when I bought it. But the leather is good. The gear, like the buckles, are good.
Buckles.
Sometimes I tape it because I don't want to hear it too much. But in combination, like that, you know, that's how I did it. And you have
very sensual.
Yeah, you have to become part of the props. You know, it's yeah.
Hey. Okay, great, and we'll get to these in a sec. So let's go to the next layer, which was metal. Damien talking to us while we came back. Hi. So the metal props right here, huh?
Yeah. So that's another prop that we have. It's I don't know what to call it, but it's like
part, something
Yeah.
metal.
I think we can see what it is.
I'm sure somebody in the chat knows
It's
the
an
exact
arm.
term for this.
So yeah, I use it.
Pauldron? Pauldron? I don't know.
Armor.
Sure, armor, yes.
Metal.
We'll go with armor.
Okay.
Metal armor.
So yeah, you have to make sound with it, but unfortunately, it's the joints that are making sound. But it's a little clicky. This one is clicky. So in game, if there's too many clicks, that's what will pop out in the mix. So you have to be careful, like to take care of them. So I kind of control them, and I make the rest move.
Ah. Again, your body has become that piece of armor.
Yeah.
Love it.
You don't hear it, but my body was making sound too.
And your role, Yves, when you're doing these sessions, you're in the booth, right? You're kind of directing him.
Sometimes I am, yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's most of the time there's someone from my team with him, the one who's assigned to the character he's working on.
Okay. And do most sounds go straight from what he does and into the game?
Well, for Foley, we tend to record, like you said earlier, we tend to record layers, and then we have to go into our digital workstation, and then we choose which layer we want to be in front. So there's a lot of editing, there's a lot of mixing. Sometimes we're doing a bit of processing on some sounds. So
cool.
Yeah.
And one thing we talk about with For Honor specifically is a lot of the design philosophy always starts with the weapon. Like for the fight designers, for the character designers. Is it the same on the audio side? Does the weapon play a central role into the sound design?
Yeah, for sure. On our end, weapons are what mostly characterize most of the character. On the Foley side, sadly, we don't have any recording because they tend to be really messy. But we tend to destroy a lot of fruits, vegetables, and tons of stuff. And just to try to layer them, we punch in punching bag, pillow, and stuff like that, just to have that thump sound.
Are you a big Gallagher fan? It's like a Gallagher show. You remember the guy that used to smash the watermelons?
Yep.
So we actually got video of this as well, getting how you get the whooshing sound, also how you get the shing sound. So let's roll that. I'm in the background there leaning in, making sure he didn't just kill our cameraman. I love the whooshing. It's a different sound depending on the direction you go. It's just, I don't know, it's just things I wouldn't ever think of until you see it in practice.
Yeah.
And how did you come to the conclusion that, okay, a good whooshing sound for a sword would be this, it's like a kendo stick almost?
But because this stick is made with lamels, so when you splice it into the wind, it makes sound. So that's why I use that one. There was one with a big bamboo, so we went in the bigger recording studio, and I use a really huge bamboo, making whooshes for like hours. That was really painful at the end. So it depends of the thing you're seeing, so you have to match it in a way. But sometimes you have to cheat it because if you take the real thing, it won't make the exact sound you have in mind.
Yep. And I think you brought some of our weapon sounds right here.
Yeah, I brought some. We have a big collection in the studio, and so those are good ones. This one was made by a professional sword maker. The steel is really good. You can hear the ring strings really well. And this is like more primitive one made with steel, but it's another tone, so I need a lot of different tones to make different actions. So that makes more like a chord together. And there's a lot of dance here, so it's like scraping. It makes an extra sound in it, which is like brutal, like For Honor.
The shing is my shit. I love it. So it makes me so calm when I hear that, and I don't know why, but it's the best. But also, what do you have right here? Is this our Conqueror chain?
Yeah, this is a chain because there's one character that used a big chain, you know, and he was like turning.
Oh, people love the Conqueror in our community, so.
So yeah, I use that, and there's different parts on it, so it makes like different sounds depending on the action. And I can add like something like that, you know, which is another type.
Okay.
So when you blend them together, it just makes it larger and more interesting, I guess.
Amazing. Beautiful. So we put together all those layers that we showed you into a supercut. And as I said, this has the actual audio that was being recorded in that session, so it sounds much better than those layers we just showed you. So let's check that out, and then we'll come right back. I hadn't seen that with the final in there too. Good job, Max. Yes, so we didn't record any hitting sounds, which is obviously a big part of that too. But I love it. So just before we go, I thought you might want to give a little mention of what else the audio team is working on, because there's a lot going on.
Yeah, right now we're working very hard on the expansion, on Breach, on the new characters.
Yes, the Breach mode, I was just going to say that it is noticeable. I don't know if it was noticeable earlier when we played, but when you're playing it, the sound is very noticeable, that you really feel like you're in a war. You can feel your army with you. It's really cool.
Yeah, we're really focusing on giving this this army-like this invasion, this how can I say that? The battlefield impression. One of the cool thing also we've added with the Breach is that we want to contextualize the music to the faction you're fighting for.
Oh, cool.
So at some point, if you're fighting for the Knights, then you will have a Knight battering ram where you will have Knight music. And yeah, and there will also be different music if you're attacker and defender, because that's two different situations.
Very cool. And the soundtrack as well.
Yep.
You're mixing in the next few days?
Yes, we're mixing in the next few days. We've done tons of recording here, LA, Iceland.
Nashville's coming.
Nashville is coming with an orchestra, so lots of...
For Honor Goes Country.
Oh, yeah.
Banjos.
Not sure about banjos.
Fiddles.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe next year.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cowboy.
Well, thank you guys very much. I hope everyone at home appreciated this segment, thought it was interesting. I really appreciate you giving us your time and letting us into the studio. That was really cool for me to be there. And we have really cool stuff. It's not just that one studio. There's a bunch of different studios upstairs in the Alice area. It's just a very cool resource that we have at Ubisoft Montreal.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Well, that is actually the end of our show. Believe it or not.
So sad.
We have reached the end of this very short show. And one thing we didn't mention earlier when Damien was here, but he wants me to tell you, is this weekend, or maybe even for a full week, the Loot Fest. We're doing a Loot Fest again, so our next Loot Fest begins tomorrow. Get your extra loot while you enjoy Season 7. So Season 7 is begun now. The maintenance has ended, I believe, I hope. Otherwise, that would be a very long maintenance. It brings with it the Warden and the Valkyrie updates, the new map, the Secluded Keep, which is available in Tribute, Skirmish, Elimination, Duel, and Brawl. There will be a seasonal event coming soonish. Remember the volcano tease. Games with Gold begins on August 16th. So tell all of your friends who own an Xbox One to pick up the game for free. And we will see you at Gamescom. And we'll have another show at Gamescom. But even in between there, we have a show next week. We're here every week. So follow, subscribe. We will see you next week on the Warriors Den. And we'll see you in game. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, everybody else, for joining the stream today. And we'll see you.